have fun. Hello and welcome to Prague in the Czech Republic for the International Canoe Federation's 4th World Cup of the 2016 season. 267 athletes from 39 nations are competing on the legendary Troja course, first opened in 1983 in this format. Today we have an action-packed schedule. We start off with racing in 5 minutes time. It's going to be semi-finals. So we start off with the canoe single C1 for men. We then go on in an hour and 5 minutes later, so at 10:05. This is Central European time. It's now 5 to 9 in the morning here. We go on to the women's semi-finals, and then we go on to the men's semi-finals. Look at that. You see the beautiful aerial shots of the canal. It's as straight as you can get, lots of water coming down, and it's about 300 meters long, the whole course. Here you see the gate formats. We'll be discussing that in a minute. I'm Matthew Layton as ever. My two guests today, they are Canadian, Liam Smedley and Keenan Simpson. Hello, good morning.
How's it going?
Yeah, look at the weather. Absolutely perfect conditions here. There's no wind. The temperature 17. It probably gets up to mid-20s in the afternoon, and the forecast is good for today. So it looks like we're going to have fair racing. Gentlemen, the conditions on the water?
It's a little bit colder this morning, but it's definitely going to warm up like yesterday. It was like 26 degrees, I think the forecast said, but pretty cloudy, so not too much sun, which is nice.
Yeah, we've had some warmer weather earlier in the week, but I think it's cooled down for the race, which is nice.
So the first event we're going to see is the men's semi-final. There's going to be 30 athletes down the course. Liam, you should be there. Why are you not there?
It was actually quite a difficult course in the qualifiers. A lot of athletes struggled with touches, and it ended up that you didn't need a fantastic run, but just to go clean would put you really close in there. So you'll see a lot of the cleanest athletes made it into those last 10 touches, so I had too many.
Well, that's a very honest appraisal there. So these are the athletes in the reverse order that we're going to again see. So these are the times that they came down with the 2 runs. The top 20 came straight through from the first heat, and the last 10 had to go through from the second heat. So some of them have been on the water, not in this format by the way, but they've been on the water yesterday twice. Others have only been on once. Most of them have been practicing here all week, and most of the athletes, it's the 15th time there's been a World Cup here since '83, so a lot of the athletes know this course incredibly well. There are plans to put on another course, but they have been plans for 20 years now. I hear it's developing as well, which is very, very good news, but this is what we have today. There are going to be 24 gates on the course. We'll see as the athletes come down, because no one's actually, apart from the forerunners who tested it out to give us an idea a few minutes ago, no one's actually been down yet, so we can't give you an exact idea of where the traps are going to be. But looking at the course, boys, what are you seeing?
That first, or from gate 4 to the first upstream, looks like it could be kind of a good place to gain or lose time.
Yeah, we've got a tricky surf move there, so I'm sure we're going to see a lot of the kayaks try and fully dodge the wave and sweep that up, and it'll be an early place to set the tone for your run.
Well, there's Alexander Slavkovsky. He's going to be one of the later athletes off. He's won the last 2 World Cups, so he certainly has something to go for. His compatriot Matej Beneš, as we know, took the silver medal in Rio a couple of weeks ago. We'll try and not give too many references to Rio, because you're going to get bored stupid with that, but a lot of the athletes have been there and have been telling their stories, and obviously quite a few athletes, as there's only 1 athlete per nation allowed to go, they missed out, so they may have a point to prove. I suppose the interesting thing about this World Cup for me is there's lots of younger athletes have been given a chance to compete at this level, including yourselves.
Yeah, I'm a junior. Noticing in this start list, Marko Mirgorodsky, he's a 2-time junior world champion. Just won this year in Krakow from Slovakia. quite a good athlete.
Yeah, I think that we see a lot of the opportunity going to their B teams and under 23 teams in the Olympic year because we don't have the senior world championships to build towards. We've passed the Olympics, and that's sort of the peak for the season. So we see these two World Cups as a big development opportunity for the up-and-coming athletes in the different countries.
And especially yourselves, you're obviously fighting to make it to the top.
Absolutely.
Yeah, these days you kind of have to be at the top, even starting when you're a junior. Otherwise, you're not really going anywhere.
Well, everyone says there's a huge correlation between where you are at like 16, 17 and where you end up when you're 25 or when you actually peak. So, first athlete down the course, it's Xu Jianming from the People's Republic of China. Let's see how he can go. And I said I wasn't going to talk about Rio, so I will. He came 14th in Rio a couple of weeks ago. Let's see how he performs today. He has been here a few times before, 43rd in the World Championships in 2013, and in 2011 he came 37th in the World Cup. Let's see. Talk me through it.
Starting off, here's that surf move we talked about. He's going to come in nice and high. He opts for the classic offside up. Sometimes you might see an athlete punt through there, so we'll wait for that. He looks like he's gotten into a good rhythm and moving nicely.
I think we're going to see a lot of athletes do that upstream he just went through pretty quickly today.
Well, an early touch there. For people who are fans of and friends of the actual athletes but don't follow the competition that closely, on your screen the graphics you'll see are the gate that they had a penalty, so gate number 6, and the nature of the penalty, which was 2 seconds, which is automatically already added onto your total. So you see at the bottom the moving time with the 2 seconds. If you hit a pole, you have a 2-second penalty. If you miss a pole, you have a 50-second penalty, which puts you out of the game effectively. And here we go, halfway down the course.
This course has a lot of back and forth. He's already opted for 2 spins. And he's going into a good section here. We actually have a double up left, which is pretty rare, but not definitely happens, as we see.
Looking strong coming into these bottom couple gates. Good to see the next split and see where he is, if he's in touch. This last up left might be the crux move for a lot of people. We see another touch added on there. Some people are going to feel they're at the bottom of the course and catch some time, but you're quite tired at the end of 22 gates there. So last gate, here we go.
And there's a fair sprint at the end, and they actually physically come just in front of us now. So by definition, the first one down comes into first place. 1-1-2. That is the time to look out for. The facts are that only 10 go through to the actual final. Gregor Hertwit, he's been around forever. He's 33 years old now, from Poland. Another top boat.
Yeah, I think we're going to see some pretty fast times coming up. The fastest forerunner went around 100 seconds in the C1 category. So I think we'll definitely see a faster time than what was just thrown down. We'll see what this Polish athlete can do.
We've seen Gregor also opt for the spin there. We think that often between the left side and the right side C1s, there'll be spins in different parts of the course to make it nice and balanced for speed, but it looks like the lefties have 1 or 2 spins today.
Getting a little bit caught up there in the hole. Yeah, there's the second spin.
Quite a hard move through 12-13 to keep the boat running. You've got to dive into an eddy and then straight into a stopper there, so it's quite difficult to keep everything running fast, and I think we'll see the Czech paddlers with some local knowledge on that move, and it'll be good to watch them taking on a touch there.
Tail touch, those are the worst.
Well, so far we see him 2 3/4 seconds up, but still a fair way behind. Sorry, the top forerunners. So we'd expect to approach, like you said, 100 seconds on here.
2 touches. It doesn't look too good for the final. That's a notorious finish sprint.
Well, comes into first place, shaved 4 seconds off, so 1:08.10, and again goes into first place. Now Spencer disappointed me. I was hoping he was going to come in on the commentary, but again put one of the best runs of his life in.
Yeah, I think we're all really, really proud to see him put down a solid run in that second qualifiers yesterday. He's back on the scene this year in the international circuit, and I think he's really pleased to be in the semifinal. And I'm sure we've got the rest of the Canadian team cheering him down right now. He looks like he's going smooth through 4.5s. Good to see.
A very good junior who had a few years off.
Yeah, 5 years off to do some school. He's looking pretty good right now, actually. He's going to do the whole World Cup circuit this year. He did the first 3, or the first, actually, just 2 and 3, right?
He's taking up a touch on 4. Didn't see that, but could be a small one. Have to wait and see. He's opting for a spin there as a righty.
I think that was a game time decision too. I doubt that was in his plan.
This is the tricky 12-13 we've talked about. He's taking another spin that's not looking like it's a part of the plan, but he's making it smooth and he's keeping both those spins clean, so it's good to see.
So do you two discuss this together?
We work with different coaches at the moment, and we're left side and right side C1, so we'll definitely talk about the course and say like, oh, it's a tricky move, what are you thinking of doing? Or one's doing a punt, one's doing this, but generally we don't walk the course together.
Well, he's putting down a solid run, 4 seconds of penalties and slightly off the pace, and there's another 2 seconds, which is not going to help his cause. This is where I guess after 100 seconds where the heartbeat's going 185, you hope you've done enough training.
Yeah, he's our first righty. I think that last up left is going to be tough for the righties, especially when you're so tired, and that's a tough move to get in tight.
There's a 4th touch on 23. I think that he's just getting back into that grind and getting into the semifinal, and I think it's going to take 1 or 2 to work out the kinks, and he'll be back moving fast in no time.
They go every 120 seconds, every 2 minutes. Shota Sasaki from Japan. And Japan obviously a huge confidence booster with the bronze medal moving up in Rio, moving up to Tokyo in 2020. Couldn't be better.
Yeah, it's awesome to see some younger C1 Japanese athletes. I know that Takua has based himself out of Bratislava, and that's given him a huge edge in to be competitive internationally. So now we've got some younger junior under 23 Japanese C1s, and be good to see them following the footsteps of Takuya, and there should be quite a legacy there, we hope.
Picked up 2 seconds of penalty, or 2 penalties for 4 seconds, and he opted for the spin on the first move, which is the first time we've seen that. Just getting a little bit caught up here.
It's a 3rd touch. We saw a lot of people struggle with that gate combination. There was a similar one in the qualifiers, and it's a tricky hole to just sit perfectly on the back and turn through that gate.
We just saw a bogey there too. First time we saw that move.
So bogey is where you take it downstream like an upstream.
Yeah, you take the outside pole as if it's a single pole upstream gate.
Where he's picking up the penalties, unfortunately. And as we see with deflecting the time, which is now 11 seconds off, and he's stuck a little bit down there.
Yeah, he's been a little bit late, kind of low in some of the upstreams. Not the fastest run. That might have been a 50.
Very tight gate there.
So the 50 is you have to have part of your boat and whole of your head at the same time.
Yeah.
Above the water and going through.
And there it is on 21. I think that maybe this is one of his first semifinals, and it takes some time to get into the groove of really coming out and laying down. It's hard to make that final, so I think look to see him in another semifinal soon.
73 days since the last World Cup in Po, and they're going down Samuel Ibbotson, Great Britain, who can be inspired by Ryan Wesley, who recently became the under-23 world champion. European champion, sorry.
European champion. Yeah, strong paddler. I've raced against him since 2012 and in Wausau, Wisconsin, and he was happy with his qualifiers run. He had a single touch and otherwise very clean, which is what put him through, and I think he's looking good right now.
Yeah, you can tell he's paddling pretty smoothly. He's not putting in a whole lot of extra strokes.
Very strong paddler. He's looking pretty aggressive, and he knows what it takes to make that final. He's got teammates Adam Burgess and Ryan Wesley here, both athletes that know how to really lay down the hammer halfway down and pull as hard as you can, so it looks like he's following suit with that. See if it works out.
The inspirational of your peers and your forefathers, it seems to be really, really strong in this sport.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Yeah, having people around you that you can watch and, in a sense, copy, it's huge. Picked up 2 penalties so far. I think we're going to notice that today going clean is an important factor in throwing down a good time and, as a result, getting into the final.
Still keeping it tight and moving fast through the bottom. It looks like
This is turning out to be a promising run.
yeah, he's not letting those touches shake any confidence. He's going hard. Good and high in the last upstream. Coming out, 23-24. We'll see where he ends up.
It's going to be close to the lead.
Up, up, up.
That is a long sprint.
Well, provisionally moves into 3, so they've had 5 of 30, 25 to go, and it's for Ireland. He lives in France. It's Liam Jiggle.
Yeah, we saw him in Krakow this year with some really fast qualifier times and semifinals. I think in the top 3 in both of those, and so he was into the final. I think still quite a good finish of 5th overall, but he's been paddling fast, and I think a leader on the Irish team now.
It's looking smooth so far.
Opting for the spin there. He's got quite a good surf in.
Getting a little bit caught up there, but I don't think it was too detrimental.
He's up on the split by 0.32 seconds. He's looking very in touch. He's clean so far, which is crucial. He's come through there very smoothly.
So the first one we've seen clean at this level, I believe.
Yeah, I think so. He's just a bit late on that spin. He's going to just use the back of that hole to get in, and then, yeah, that's actually, he's run the boat fairly well through there. I don't think that was a part of his plan.
It's really hard to come into this up with a good speed and angle because of where the downstream is placed, and he did a pretty good job there.
I think we're seeing a nice run come together. He's up 2.15 on the split, and
Just
he can keep it clean into the finish.
In theory, he should have no fear of the actual course. In 2012 in the World Cup, he came in, just made the heats 35th, and in 2013 in the World Championships, he was 46th. So he's been down this course a few times before.
Yeah, that little move there definitely cost him some time. And having local knowledge of this course and just general knowledge of this course is super important because it's so technical.
So a 1:05 running time. I think that's quite good. He's
Well, looks like that. He so far moves into first place. Blaise qualifier. When I arrived here at 7:30, he was out there paddling along the flat water with the rest of the Slovenian team, the 4 representatives all out there, and then a few minutes later they were walking the course. He's a good prospect.
Yeah, I noticed yesterday after the second qualifier's run, he took quite a long flatwater paddle, as was I, and probably clear his head and work out some strokes. And he looks like he started off nicely through 4-5. He's driving the boat well, paying off with his flatwater practice.
Using the water to get over there, catching, it's like a double surf move.
It's good upstream. He's just behind on the split. Let's see where he ends up on this move.
That won't be good.
Just below, we've seen a few athletes loop this gate. A loop is where you just missed a downstream gate and then you pull into an eddy nearby and work back up to go down it and make sure you get it. It's quite a quick loop, but it's going to cost him some crucial couple seconds. And we see he's picked up 3 touches now, so it's not coming together today, but see him push to the finish.
A lot of touches on this course today. Same thing with yesterday. There's a lot of spots that the water's throwing bows up into the air and people are picking up 2 seconds.
The Slovenians usually very good in their C1 category. They've got so much depth, and I think if we don't see Blaise into the final, we're going to see some other Slovenian talent today.
Well, we have 3 more after Blaise. Comes over the line and probably not what he was wanting. Well, goes into 5th place, so unless the water's switched off, I don't think he's going to make the final.
So flash from Slovenia, 5th place so far.
Adam Burgess, parents are here, granny's here, all cheering him on down the course. When I spoke to him after, he just missed out of the first heat on going straight through to the semi. He was 21st. He said, I'm actually quite relieved because I didn't feel good. I want another chance to go down the water. Under 23, last year world champion, has quite a lot of experience now in finals, so will certainly be wanting to put something together.
Very strong paddler. He's looking to put up his new personal best on the World Cups. At this race, his last time in Prague, he placed 4th, and he told me he was looking to crack the podium in this. He's opted for 2 punts so far. He's really pushing off the wall and taking the momentum out of that. He looks clean so far, so that's a good run coming together.
Crucially staying out of the meat of the hole there, staying on top, kept his boat running. We'll see if he can stay clean. I hope I didn't just jinx it.
Looking very smooth. He's got a strict style, very upright, very forward, and strong strokes. And we see it pays off on a lot of courses. We're hoping here, and he's up on the split now. And I think that clean run is really showing through to be able to go into the lead, finishing nicely here.
Now it comes down to a question of fitness, I guess. Holding it together in the last 2 downstreams. Bit of a sprint to the end.
Here we go.
It looks like we do have a new leader. Well done, Adam Burgess from the UK.
Nice.
Well done. He's going to have his move. Yeah, there you go. Crazy horse.
It's a crazy horse.
And your brother even did that in the Olympics?
Yeah, I think so. I believe so.
So we have Liv's Medley, whose older brother Cameron, who's not here this weekend, did make quite a splash in the Olympics. Here we go with Lucas Rohan, first one with local knowledge from the Czech Republic.
I think we're going to see the sidelines absolutely light up for this athlete. He's local to Prague and fast paddler. We had loads of Czech fans running him down for that second qualifiers run, so I think we can all see them coming down now.
Yeah, even the Czech commentator who's doing the commentary for the fans gets extra excited whenever a Czech paddler goes down, starts talking really fast. It's pretty fun to watch.
They always do a wonderful job. They're just above the bridge, and they really get the fans who are right by the waterside going, aren't they? They really do a cracking job. So far clear.
Yeah, I don't think it's too hard to get the Czech fans excited here. We've got quite a few paddlers in the sport who have made some done some big titles in the past little while.
Really strong run coming together for Lucas Rohan. It's looking strong. Turning smoothly through there. We'll see some local knowledge on that cross to the up. Yep, extremely smooth. Just off on the split, so he's perfectly in touch to be close to that second place time.
Well, the noise is helping, pushing him along a little bit, that's all the athletes say. No crowd for the last 50 meters, and you can't hear the speaker, but it's a case of it's going to be a really, really solid time. And moves into first place by half a second. So after 9 of the 30 athletes down, we do have 2 athletes that are pushing for the final. And Benny Savcek from Slovenia, who was always known as one of the fastest but taking risks. And in the last couple of years, he's cut out a lot of risk.
Yeah, I think he's been finding looking for that strong consistency. He's had a couple, I know he's been silver at 2 of the World Championships in the past 4 years, and really strong performances. Yesterday we saw some uncharacteristic paddling of him. He actually looped a gate and then looped the same gate once more, so he had to go for his second run in the qualifiers, but confidently won the second run. So we see him here today, 2.6 up on the split. So.
Yeah, that punt was really quick. He's one of those paddlers that on the shore you can watch and just know that they've got a good control of the course. They're kind of always on top of the water rather than being pushed around by it.
Tends to feather his blade a fair bit. You'll see it when your blade stays in the water a lot, then you have a lot more control over the boat. If something pushes you offline, you can react faster because your blade's already in the water. So we see him feathering all the way through there, back in the water, and coming strong through here. Just one touch. Coming on now at 16.
One touch, and it looks like he's still 1.99 seconds up on that last split.
Very fast run.
Which is an indicator for what kind of times I think we have yet to see with the later boats in this category.
Well, again, everyone's faster than the last.
There
Now
we
look
go.
at that. That's first under 100. Benjamin Savsek from Slovenia, who'll be looking to do something as well next week as we get on to Datsun. Well, you can see the details. He's age number 23, Roberto Calazioni from Italy, next to go.
Very strong paddler from Italy. I think also an under 23 world champion in 2012 as well, so not unfamiliar with taking a world title and strong. Getting a little caught up on the surf move there. He's opted for the punt, maybe caught a little time there.
That was quick. Kept the boat moving.
You'll see some of the athletes do a spin before the gate rather than just inside of it, because you're looking to have the spin done before you get there, and then it runs the boat just as you're going through and straight into the following gate. So you want to have that turn done ahead of time, and he's done that nicely on around gate 8. Just again here, he's got that spin done before and through to the hole. Really well done. Just a touch on the outside pole, which is going to cost him.
Right, only 2 seconds of penalties for the 11th athlete down.
Almost 6 seconds back on the split.
He's come a little bit late through to 15 there, and then the cross to 16. Maybe showing a little bit tired at the bottom of the course there, going for that sweep on the downstream and taking that third touch, and we're going to see him finish hard, but I think this is going to be maybe just out of touch for that finals cutoff.
Yeah, you can tell. He kind of knows.
Yep.
Strong.
10 seconds off. We won't be seeing him anymore. So first of the French is to go. Kylian Foulon. French have massive strength and depth here, as we know. Denis Gago-Canoe is not competing this weekend. He's having a well-deserved weekend off after his gold medal performance in Rio.
Yeah, the French have such a depth of field. It's very competitive. And so as a result, we see a lot of athletes picking up titles, making finals, paddling very smoothly.
Kylian, I think, one of the newcomers to the senior team. It's so brutally competitive to make that senior cut that he had a strong under-23 career, and I think he's broken onto the senior team this year with a strong performance at trials, so it's good to see him on the World Cup circuit this season and paddling what I think is a new boat from Pelagic, so it's be interesting to see how he works that and if that's one that other people will adopt in the future. It's looking strong, just the one touch so far.
Keeping smooth, he just avoided that stopper, kept his boat dry, which is something the athletes are all trying to do.
Run across nicely. We're just 3.54 off of the split, but Benjamin Savsek with about 3.5 seconds up on second place currently. It may still be competitive for that top 4, so we'll have to see through the finish.
That was a cracking run, wasn't it? Well, he's been down here before. He made the semi-final in 2014, coming 19th. Let's see what he does today. It's another 5 seconds of paddling after you go through the last gate. And goes into 4th place, but we still have 18 to go, so it's going to be difficult to see at this stage. next athlete to go will be expecting to go through. Let's have a look. It's number 1 on his front, which shows he's the top dog. It's Alexander Slavkovsky from Slovakia, who's won the last 2 World Cups, and everyone loves his very fluid style.
Yeah, he's one of those legends in the sport.
We see those 3 strong Slovak C1s, Michal Martikan, Alexander Slavkovsky, and Matej Benush. So only one could go to the Olympics, but as you can see, any of them can win World Cups, and Slavkovsky is showing his dominance on the World Cup circuit.
He's getting a little bit caught up here. Kind of coming a little bit too tight into that upstream and having to lean off the pole.
Taking on a touch in the outside pole there. Going direct here, which is one of the first we've seen. We'll often see him opt for the harder, more technical move to catch time because he has the technical skill set to pull that off.
He's having an uncharacteristic run with 2 touches. Be interested to see where he ends up with his time. Not really running the boat across the way that he probably wanted to. Coming a little bit low into the upstream.
See what he can do in these last 3 gates. Might be some time in this last upstream. It's nice and high.
Well, he really needs to pull something together now to hope to qualify in the top 10. It's going to be difficult. Well, goes into 5th rank. That's not what he wanted.
We're seeing a run time of 1:02 there, and I think that could be more competitive, but that's just highlighting the importance of going clean in Prague today. It's some tight offsets, and you need to stay off the poles.
And Felipe Borges from Brazil.
Also a Rio 2016 Olympian representing Brazil in the C1 class. Bit of a hiccup over the surf there. He's just lost his upstream edge and then thrown it back down to gain back his stability, and then he's trying to come back into some momentum here. Looking good through gate 6.
So for the Brazilians, it must be exhausting after you've had such the build-up, then you had the party and you had the hangover, and now it's time to back to work.
Yeah, the Brazilians are a lot of fun. They're always excited. And they've been getting more and more competitive with all of their athletes.
Well, they have a top training coaching team in place now, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I know that Jordi Cadena has actually just come on in their staffing in the past year to train the C1 team, so I think Felipe will have seen the benefits of that, and he's looking good now here through the bottom of the course. Still clean, which is could hold it together for him to look for a competitive time. 4.9 down on the split there.
He got a little bit caught up on that upstream, but his run across the hole was very quick.
Seen a few touches on that downstream gate, people trying to cut the line at the bottom of the race course, and I think just running smooth through the middle of the gates at those bottom 5 gates is really important.
That's no fun.
No, it's not going to be fast enough to make it today, unfortunately.
I believe he's qualified through the heats, or through the time trial into the heats of the slalom cross later today, so maybe he'll be looking to take out the rest of his energy there.
You're getting that, I believe.
Yeah, I'm also going this afternoon, both of us.
Yeah, it's going to be fun.
We'll talk about that a bit later because we are going to be covering that live. Ansley Burgett, who a couple of years ago he won 2 World Cups in a row, and then there's been a little bit quiet since. Let's see what he can put down. He was known as one of the huge talents, so he just has to perform in the finals now.
Amazing paddler, great style. Not necessarily one of the biggest, but he's always driving the boat. Each stroke is huge momentum through the boat, taking on one touch, but I think that we could see the speed from him all the way down that he could actually account for that time.
This guy spends a lot of time training in Po. There's another touch there. I think going clean is going to be really important. I think 4 seconds of penalties might be a little bit too much this early in the race.
He's certainly in contention for the overall World Cup title this season. He's been ranking quite high, so I'm sure he's looking to be in that final to keep the World Cup title fight alive.
Well, he's raced here at least 5 times before. He made the final in 2012, 2013 at the World Championships. He came 4th. The last time was here in 2014 in the World Cup. He just missed the final, coming 15th. So he certainly knows what it's all about. Still quite young, at 26 years old, but been on the scene a long time now.
Yeah, he's looking smooth through the bottom of the course, keeping his boat flat, but he's taken a 3rd touch on that last upstream, so it's going to be hard to make that up here.
He's sprinting though.
Well, probably not enough. 6 seconds of penalties, but a fast time.
Like we expected, yeah, we saw the speed from him. He's a great paddler, but those touches will push him out of the final today.
Casey Eichfield, been to 3 Olympic Games now. 4th in the World Championships 2015. Lives for the sport, as I guess you all do.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He spends a lot of time training at the U.S. National Whitewater Center in Charlotte.
Very passionate paddler. Loves every day out on the water. It's really fun to train with, and very aggressive, very strong, and we'll see that today.
And in the last year or so, he's really broken. He expects to make the final now.
Yeah, absolutely. He's had quite a few finals. I know in Towson before and in Augsburg in the past 2 years, and he's found that rhythm that you need and the consistency, so we'll have to see if he's in for another one today. 2.72 down on the split, but we'll have to account that that includes the touch, so he's actually just 0.72 off the top time, so looking good so far.
A little bit of a last-minute spin in the last hole and getting caught up in this one. This course can throw you offline in an instant if you don't have your blade in the water at the right time in the right place.
Still looking composed. And
fastest time so far. He just needs to keep it going, doesn't he? He's still 1.77 off with the penalty. Let's see if he can go through.
Yeah, keeping his composure, and he's gone through the middle there. 21, so we'll just have to see this last upstream. Good and high. I think we're going to see this as a strong time.
Ah, it's expensive. He's taken a 2-second penalty on the second to last gate. That's really dumb.
We can see he's trying to make up for it here in that finishing sprint. Hard break.
Yeah, he knows.
Could be expensive.
Showing that really tight gate 5. Everyone's taking early in the course.
Young talent.
Marko Mirgdelski from Slovakia. If you make the Slovakian senior team, you're not bad at all.
Yeah, and he's actually knocked off Michal Martikan of the senior team, I believe, this year. So not just being given a World Cup as a junior under 23, and he is a junior, but actually progressing to the senior level on his own. So
those Slovakians, they know how to paddle C1.
And he's the reigning junior world champion.
Yeah, 2 years running. This guy's really, really tall. He has a huge reach. Paddle's very smooth.
It's looking good so far. 1 touch on gate 8. Direct through there, and hopefully he can ride the back through that hole. Very good.
Not trying to rush it like some of the other athletes, rushing that gate and picking up a touch. He just waited that extra fraction of a second, stayed clean, and ended up saving 2.
He's got a really long stroke. You can see can be good and keeps the boat running, and can be an advantage at times. Slavkovsky also takes advantage of that with a very long stroke.
Saw that. It's the second off the pace, but still very much in touch.
Oh, I just picked up another 2-second penalty.
You can actually see that one on 19, so it might be one to review. Good up. Coming nice and high and engaging the stern.
Well, putting together a solid run, not what he wanted, but it's very fast. And goes into 4th place. That'll to be seen. Might regret those penalties. Pierre-Antoine Diat has won recently both categories.
This guy is a kayak and P guy, which kayak in the Pyrenees, so he trains in Po with a group of, in a sense, bandit athletes. A lot of world-class paddlers.
Well, we've got Thomas Coughlin also, who's the fastest from the heats. He's in the same group.
Yeah, they're see them together in Po whenever we go down there for a training camp.
What can make that team so strong is that they've garnished enough top-level athletes that you have training partners that are all at the same level and can push each other. So, good group. He's taken on that one touch, but otherwise he's looking quite fast. Just 1.08 off of the top run time.
Getting really caught up there.
Hard move to come in on the offside there with the right side paddler, so it's more difficult to pull yourself out of the stoppers and the holes when you're reaching over to the other side of your boat because it's not as strong as your onside. So seeing him lose a little time there.
.38 seconds off. So his run time is in touch with the first boat's combined time.
Made the final in Ivrea, made the final in Po, 7th and 10th, and semi-finalist in Liceo. So we'll be expecting to put himself in the final.
Yeah, he came pretty low into that last upstream. It took 3 strokes to get up to the top. So that probably cost him a little bit of time to rank 4. That's not bad.
I think that he pulled together nicely through the bottom half of the course.
11 athletes to go. Raffaello Ivali. Young and promising.
Yeah, absolutely. He had a really strong first qualifiers run yesterday. He was really happy with it and came through directly to the semifinal. So I think he's confident off of that and looking to put down a top performance here. You can see his father coaching the Ettore, coaching the Brazilian team, but also coaching both of his sons. So they've got some inside knowledge there.
And if you want to understand the sport, there's nothing better than looking at Father's blog.
Yes, absolutely. Ettore is always publishing the progression of slalom and his thoughts on the sport, and it's really good reading.
Taking lots of photos too.
Well, so far it looks good.
Yeah, absolutely. Driving the boat well. We're going to see him take that direct, a small touch on the outside pole.
He managed to stay out of the hole a little bit there, but his bow got turned up probably more than he wanted to and had to do more turn, losing a little bit of time. Oh, tried to crank that one around really fast, ended up taking 2 seconds.
The water, is it consistent here?
I'd say out of a lot of the slalom courses on the world circuit, it's one of the more consistent ones, yeah.
Yeah, artificial courses, it's really hard or almost impossible to keep the water consistent, but this one is one of the better ones. Coming pretty low into that up.
The 6 seconds of penalties are going to be expensive, unfortunately.
I think we're going to see a fast time, but those touches racked up.
Well, moves into 15th possession with 6 seconds of penalties.
The sport's getting a lot younger. 18-year-olds, 19-year-olds making finals and semifinals.
We'll see some of that turnover every Olympic cycle. You see some older ones moving on and some younger ones taking hold.
Ladislas Gerbat from the Czech Republic will be expecting big things here.
Very aggressive style. Always pulling hard down the course. He's been quite fast on Prague in the past, and you see that today with the local knowledge.
That was a super fast upstream, very smooth.
Keeping a really flat boat through here, setting the spin down before 8. Just 0.96 off on the split. Very competitive time so far.
You can hear the commentator getting pretty excited.
Well, it is one of his compatriots who came fourth in the Olympic Games 2 weeks ago, which is the worst position to come, I guess.
Fourth or second. Pretty smooth crossover here. Commentator is really excited now. He's only 0.6 off the split. Oh, and he picked up a touch. I didn't really see that one.
Well, last 10 seconds to go.
His Olympic boat looking pretty nice. Huge
Certainly
sprint.
has the speed, hasn't he? Look at that.
Czechs cheering him into the finish.
Yeah, rank 2. Nice.
Well, mathematically not through, but with only 10 athletes to go, it's certainly looking good.
That forerunner is probably kicking himself. He had a great time. He would have gone into the final.
He has Stanislav, a veteran of the sport and fast in the past.
Stan won last year, didn't make the team this year, but still, I spoke to him yesterday after his run, which he did an amazing time. He said, no, I'm too old for this. He says it every year, 38, and an hour before that he was helping with some technical stuff, so he really is the ambassador of this course. Franz Anton from Germany, let's see how he goes down.
He had an awesome run in qualifiers at the Olympics. I remember watching that and being excited to see what he could do in the last 2 World Cups.
Not racing his C2 Olympic category this weekend, but just in the C1 category. 0.37 off the split, so moving very fast so far.
So he actually went in the hole on that one, and it didn't seem like it hurt his run too bad.
Would that have been a tactical call, or he just found himself there?
Sometimes it can be the safer one. If you go right into the middle of the hole, then it's going to hold you nicely, and you can make sure you're into that next gate in the middle. But if you ride the back, you can often run the boat faster, but you run that risk of coming off the back of the hole and missing the next gate. So it's a balance. It's a risk decision there. Maybe showing some fatigue on the bottom of the course here, taking that sweep on the second last up left. Time looks in touch. Nice
Got
and
it
high.
tight there. Yeah, I think we're going to see a good time from Anton here.
Pushing hard.
Big sprint.
Moves into third place, so the athletes are all starting to up their game now.
And we see the queue go up for Benjamin Safsek, so the first one qualified for the final.
Yes, we do. Nicolas Béchier, who tells the water what to do.
Yeah, big man.
Really strong paddler, known for his switching at times. He's somewhat, in the past, hasn't switched as much, but recently we've seen him switch a fair bit. Not yet on this race course so far, but looking very fast.
And his brother was coaching Denis Gagoshnu to the Olympic champion.
Correct. And I think that Benoit Péchier, an Olympic champion himself, you couldn't really ask for a better coach in that position, having the actual experience of winning the Olympics, so clearly it paid off for Denis.
Almost 2 seconds back on the split here.
I think we'll see him catch some time on the bottom with that physical element that he brings, so catching his edge on the hole there.
The last couple of years been mainly concentrating on the C1, with Pierre Laborel stepping onto coaching, I believe.
Oh, okay. It'd be interesting to see next year with the C2 mixed category being introduced back to the Senior World Championships if Nicolas Péchier takes on a female partner for that category.
It's going to be a fun category. Everyone's going to be scouting for partners.
Well, so far he's crucially clean.
Yeah, and I think we've seen him pull hard through the bottom, which is what we expected with that fitness pushing him through. So I think he's caught up that time, and it's going to be very competitive.
Yeah, this looks like a great run.
Goes into second rank, qualifies for the final. Well done, Nicolas Péchier. from France. So far qualified. Benjamin Savsek from Slovenia, Nicolas Peschier from France. Ryan Westley, who has had a cracking last 12 months, medalled in the Senior Worlds last year in London, and well, about 10 days ago now, was it? He actually came and won the under-23s.
Yeah, just in Solkan, Slovenia, which will be close to the venue of the next World Cup final coming up.
Is he paddling a David Florence boat?
Well, it's certainly the same colour schemes, isn't it? David Florence not here this weekend.
No, they do both paddle the same boat design, the classic Mardican, so I think that they could switch boats pretty freely. Just maybe what we're seeing today. Going for the direct on 8. Looking very fast. It's a single touch on 3 that I didn't see, but...
Yeah, I saw that one. It's a little bit back on the split too, but he's running his boat through that hole pretty nicely.
Another direct through there. He's truly taking the fastest lines today to be in that final, and I think he's wants to be gunning for a medal to continue his success this weekend.
I think at this level, confidence comes into it, doesn't it? Confidence must be running high.
Yeah, absolutely. Running the boat really nicely on the back of that hole. Just 1.29 off on the split, so a very fast run time.
Let's see if he can come high into this up, make up some time. He didn't come super high, but he pushed into the fast water near the wall and actually didn't lose very much time there.
Really strong finishing sprint.
And moves into 3rd place with a qualification for another World Cup final. Well done.
That was a great run. You see the Nike logo on his connecting top there, maybe a result of his compatriot Joe Clark.
And Jurinac the 3rd of 4 Slovenians to go. Compatriot is sitting in 1st place. So again, a different build to a lot of them. He's not the tallest chap, is he? It seems to be able to move his bait forward.
Yeah, he takes on a closer style to Benjamin Savsek, the narrower style boat and the longer strokes and lots of feathering of the blade. And
Slalom's one of those sports where you don't, the builds vary so much. You can have one guy who's tall and skinny and then the next guy who's short and as big as a brick.
Okay, that's the first. And his run so far, he's knocking a couple of posts out of the way.
Yeah, 2 touches isn't going to be helpful.
looking like he's cutting some lines, and his touches are coming along with it. So a third touch.
Touch one, try to make up time, touch another, try to make up more time.
Especially on Prague, we'll see those rack up.
Well, 5 seconds off the split at the moment, off the time.
I think that this isn't the
50-second penalty.
just going in with a head duck there and not quite getting the space on it he needed, so 50-second penalty on 21 touch.
No final today, but we might see him again in Tossin next weekend.
Well, completely different water, isn't it? That's a huge start, and then you just ride the waves down the rest, I guess. Are you two going?
Yeah,
both
we
of
are.
us will be there.
Have you paddled there before?
No, it's going to be my first time.
Good luck. Nico Betke from Germany, who is 36 years young and looking to put forward a top performance here.
Really strong paddler, always putting the blade in one after the other, just stroke, stroke, stroke. So we're going to see him power through the whole course. If he can keep it clean, I think that we'll see a fast time from him today.
Yeah, he kept the blade in that whole time there, feathering.
Sometimes the small features on Prague, the wave after wave and stopper here and there, it can sort of slow your boat down if you're taking on water and hitting them one after the other. But with a style like this that's just pulling, 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 not dissimilar from David Florence, then you can really keep up your speed no matter what. So See if he can use that to pull through today.
Getting really messed up there. Game time decision spin. Really lost a valuable time there.
Keeping it clean so far, so that final is still open for the taking, it would look like.
As we mentioned in that, so far we do have 4 hypothetically qualified, because Franz Anton, who's sitting in 4th place, has an asterisk next to his name, which means he or someone else is appealing. 10th time at the moment is Kilian Forlon, who came down in 105.87, so you need to do better than that.
Yeah, I think we have some fast times to look forward to in the last couple boats.
There we go, clean through, 22-23. He's going to be powering through the finish with his strength.
Nico Bedge goes into 8th place.
Stopped his sprint pretty early there.
And Florian Breuer from Germany, another young but top paddler.
Yeah, the current under-23 world champion from Krakow, Poland. Actually the fastest run time, I believe, in the qualifiers, but with 2 touches, putting him back slightly. So it'll be interesting to see if he can repeat that speed today.
He's paddling very smoothly.
Yeah. Taking on a really similar style to Sideris Tassiadis, just like we talked about earlier, with having the older athletes and the experience in your country and taking on some of that style and learning from it. So we're seeing that, and it's working out for him.
Yeah, you can see him waiting and being very patient.
Very tight duck on gate 8 there.
50 seconds. He'll definitely check out the video and maybe go for an appeal on that one because it was close.
Cutting that offset tight again, that's what we talked about with taking the back of the hole versus going right into the middle of it. So you take on the back and have a faster run of your boat, but you go tighter on the pole, so you run the risk of that penalty. Looking strong through the bottom nonetheless. He's keeping it smooth and pushing for that final. Without the 50, 2.46 off, so maybe in touch for 5th place.
So briefly, how does the appeal, your team leader has the right to go and appeal?
Yeah. So they'll go and appeal, and the judges will review it, make a final call, and if you don't agree with that, you can protest, but that costs money.
There are video cameras set up on a lot of the upstreams to give a second point of view for the judges.
So 6 off the pace would not be good enough anyway.
Yeah, so they might not even bother.
Another Frenchie, Martin Thomas, who again is a flyer.
Great style for a C1 forward, always on top of the boat, always feathering, keeping the blade in the water, keeping his boat moving. Regardless of the course that he's paddling on, you can see really fast run times from him.
Just getting down over the bow for that upstream to make sure that he doesn't pop up and gain him a 2-second penalty. And he's looking early and smooth.
Really nice up right there.
Second punt of the day. That went better than his first one.
You can see he turned the boat really quickly there, kept his boat very flat. It's where you keep the edges parallel on either side of your boat, and that's the position you're looking for in those tight maneuvers between the downstream gates.
French have had success in the C1, especially in the Olympics. Got a gold this year and last, and the year before that.
Missing one off in Beijing, but doing Athens. So it's Estangue had 3 times, Gago Canoe now has 1. So it's they own it, they believe.
Be interesting to see how far that goes for. But Martin Thomas come together with a really strong run today. He's clean so far, he's high in this last upstream, and that really confident and good style is going to pay off here.
27 years old, but first competed here in 2011, so he came 4th, so semi-finalist there. And that's good.
That's our next
It
qualifier.
puts you into the final. Well done.
Not happy though. Smashing himself in the head with his paddle.
Well, if you break your wrist, you can't go in the final, can you? Thomas Rak from the Czech Republic, from Prague. Apparently a very good artist.
Really strong paddler. I know the past year or two he had a shoulder injury and he came back from that really quickly and strong as ever. Pushing hard here. A local favorite, so we're going to see the Czechs light up again on the sidelines and run him down. And he's looking good so far for the first 6 gates clean.
And we expect to hear from noise from the crowd. All the supporters are riverbank right, which you actually see, and they go from pretty much 20 metres after the start to about 50 metres from the end, and they pack them in on these stands, so it really does make some noise.
Yeah, and I think it's going to get even more crowded for the finals this afternoon.
Really nice maneuver through there. He sort of fell into the back of the hole, but just powered up and took the spin. A little caught up in 13.
Kept it clean. Don't think that'll hurt him too much.
I think we'll see his experience and his strength come out of these bottom 8 gates or so. He's going to power through.
Well, up on the clock, crucially.
Unusually low in that upstream. See if he can absorb that time and push through.
Well, it looks like we do have someone threatening to take the first position at the moment. 2 more athletes to go after Thomas Rack.
Noise is building here into the finish.
Building rather nicely, goes into 3rd place and books himself in the final and shows his delight. Thank you for the crowd, which I'm sure they help.
Savsek must have had a really fast bottom. I kind of forgot what happened, but always seems like people are up on the last split and then he still takes the lead.
Sometimes it's easy to forget how fast he's going because he's always so smooth, always blade in the water. He's not looking aggressive or jumping all over the place, but he's always got the boat moving. So
Mate Benesh, who spent most of the weekend on pushchair duties with his pushing his young 9-month-old son around, who's learning to walk this week, which is very exciting. He's an Olympic silver medalist and one of the very top 2 or 3 in the world.
yeah, I saw his son starting out in his first steps on the sideline this week, and I asked his mom if he was going to be a C1 athlete, and Jakub Grigar piped up saying no, he'll be a kayak. So we'll have to see. Looking strong as always through these first 9 gates. Just 0.82 down.
That was quick.
Hasn't had a chance really to have a big reception for celebrating his medal. He's had so much media work to go through. He said he's going to calm down in a week's time.
Yeah, he's not unused to success in this sport. Becoming the Slovak C1 boat in the Olympics is an accomplishment in itself.
We see he's 1.27 up on the split, so a really fast run coming together. Really big stroke from Benush and powering through.
Frequently recently we've seen him put on an exhibition in the semi-finals. He slows up over the line, not to embarrass the others.
Yeah. Sometimes we'll see boats do that because they prefer not to go last in the final.
There he goes, just a
Or
nice
like
little
Jess
afternoon
Fox and
promenade.
just touch the gate on purpose.
Goes into 2nd, but could have done so much better if he wanted to, but well done, Mate Benesh. 1 more place up for grabs. And it is Thomas Gocklin from Switzerland, who trains part of the time in Geneva, part of the time down in Pole. He's having a cracking year. Let's see how he can go.
Really strong paddler, really quick turnover in his stroke rate. There's a trade-off there. You need fitness to compensate for that type of stroke style, but then you can keep the boat accelerating all the time, so it slows down out of an upstream, but you're going to take those 5 quick strokes to get it back up to speed. So if you have the fitness for it, then it can be a really fast paddling style. See, he's taken 1 touch on gate 5 there.
Well, looking at his physique, you don't doubt his fitness.
No.
Koshnine is a big guy. 2nd touch.
No, needs to hold it together.
That is not what he wanted to do.
Oh, taking on a roll there. This doesn't looking like the run that is going to get him into the final.
Well, so far this year, second in Ivrea, fifth in pole, and it's all falling apart, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's tough to keep your composure and finish a run like this.
Not doing C2 tomorrow, so he's going to come in and help us with the commentary. We'll have to understand, find out what happened.
In good sportsmanship, he's finishing off the run.
But there's no asterisks by any of the athletes' names, so we do have the 10 qualifiers, which will go off in a couple of hours' time for the finals. It's going to be Savsek, Benush, Anton, Rak, Peshiega, Baturuan, Burgess, Thomas, and Wesley, with Nico Betge just missing out by half a second.
Only one athlete who didn't qualify was clean. It's interesting to know.
Well, there you go. Not today, Thomas. So we need to go on in a couple of minutes straight to the next event, which is going to be the women's C1. But Keenan Simpson and Liam Smedley, what are your thoughts of that? Good motivators going forward, good quality?
Yeah, I'm excited for the final to see what kind of times that can be posted. People noticing their mistakes, fixing them. I think we'll see a consistent around 100 seconds.
Yeah, we saw a fair number of spins in that semifinal. I think we're going to see a lot of athletes go for the direct move in the final. It's going to make for really interesting runs.
Well, there you have what I've just repeated. Savsek, Benes, Anton, Rak, Peshe, Gerbaru, Burgess, Thomas, and Wesley make it through to the final. And you can see for yourself who's just missed out. Alexander Slatkovsky won the last 2 World Cups. That may be a surprise. Casey Eichfeld is on being in top form. Let's see who else.
Yeah, I think touch has kept a lot of people out of the final today. So they'll be kicking themselves, but
I know Enze Burcic would have been strongly competitive for the overall World Cup title, so he'll be down a bit in points with that performance, but with his moving to Towson next weekend in the World Cup finals, worth double points in the World Cup circuit, so he may be able to put on a medal performance and make up the points there to take the title, so we'll have to watch him.
at home too.
Yeah,
So something to look out for. Moving swiftly on, coming to you live from Prague for the 4th World Cup of the ICF Slalom World Cup season. These are the starters for the semi-final. We had the heats yesterday, 2 heats. 15 athletes came through from the first heat. 5 had to brave it out, and they're coming in reversed order, so the first 5 will be the athletes we saw. And these are the top dogs who are expecting to do something special in the semi-final and moving on to the finals. You see 20 athletes. Most of the top names, to be fair, made it through yesterday.
Yeah, Jessica Fox, Nuria Viraruba, both moving on. 2 of the most notable names. A couple of younger names, like we talked about, attending these World Cups. Kate Eckhart from Australia. So I'm sure she'll be looking for a strong performance here in one of her first C1 World Cups, maybe.
And maybe we should mention young Kimberly Woods, because she's having a flying season so far. And 4 Brits through to the semi-finals.
Yeah, a couple nations getting a lot of boats in. France, Russia, GBR.
think we'll see some of the nations with strong C1 women focus on progressing that category, and some others catching up with the 2020 Olympics, C1 women being included. So I think that's going to fuel this category to be much more competitive over the next couple of years, but it's progressed a long way, and I think see some really impressive performances today.
Annabelle van der Kief from Spain, from La Citadelle. She's been there most of her life, I understand.
Some strong paddling in Krakow earlier this season. Be interesting to see how she does today.
A lot of switching from her so far already too.
And we've actually seen her touch the second gate there, but she didn't actually go through it, so we're seeing her go back for that. She just went by so fast that it was hard to say.
Yeah, I completely missed that. I thought she went through. I was like, what is she doing?
Would you put that down to, we have to talk to her to find out why, but would you put that down to nerves perhaps?
Maybe looking through to the next gate. It's hard to say. Maybe just coming off the start, a bit nervous.
The 1, 2, 3, 4 combo is the same as qualifiers yesterday, so I don't think it was a lack of insight.
Going direct through 8-9 there, impressive turn. Going fairly high. With her compatriot Nuria being a very strong C1 in this category, I imagine they're training in some capacity together, and that's really got to progress your skills and pushing hard. So
I didn't see what the forerunners put down for time. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of time we get for the final.
So far the course constructors made a course on Thursday at 6 o'clock. So 2 days ago they laid it out so everyone can have a look at it. There's some demos down there. And then it's a case of switch your attention to the heat to make sure you come through. And now this morning and yesterday evening most of the athletes have been through it. But this is the first time that she's actually paddled this combination.
Yeah. A lot of she just picked up a couple 50-second penalties there. A lot of the time the coach will video the demos before the race, and then last night I would imagine she spent some time watching video with her coach, learning the course.
Looks like it's not coming together today. It'd be interesting to talk to her after the run and see what was up.
Recently came fourth in the under-23 Worlds in Krakow. They're coming every 1 minute 20 seconds, so if someone's taking longer than that, unfortunately the directors have to make a choice. But there you go, this is Kate Eckhard, whose father was in the 1992 Olympics, and she's burst onto the scene, well, a few years ago now from Tasmania, but it's really, I think this is her first weekend in the World Cup. She's doing C1, K1.
Yeah, making a name for herself as well. It's interesting to see she wasn't racing in Krakow at the Junior World Championships this year. She was a forerunner.
I think she was actually sick earlier this year during the Australian selections.
Yeah, exactly.
She has the opportunity to race some of these races, but I'm not sure how they sorted that out. It's a whole family affair. I know that her both her parents are physiotherapists for the team at times, and her brother Andrew Eckhart also previously competing in the C1 category at the junior level.
So very much a case of encouraged all the way along.
Only one touch so far, so actually looking like quite a good run, and her switches are smooth. And there we go, back again to the left. And oof. So she pulls across here.
16 seconds up. Or 50, yeah. That one was on the edge. I think they'll probably review that.
Sometimes it's hard to judge on some of those 50-second penalties because when you hit the pole, it swings in unusual ways and you have to get your whole head in. So sometimes that's the case, or others, if you hit a pole in a manner that the judge thinks you've knocked it to go and put yourself in the gate line, that also counts as a 50-second penalty. So we're not sure what the ruling is there, but they'll have to look into it.
So the idea is to not put the decision in the hands of the judges.
Yeah,
so there's no such thing as a perfect situation. Well, clearly she goes into first place. We'll have to have a look at the 50-day. And next to go for Russia, Alsu Minazova.
We've seen her actually take advantage of the left eddy there after gate 4 to get a strong surf across, and not sure how that'll play out for time, but Looks like technically it gave her a good setup for gate 5.
Yeah, I think we're going to see a lot of different combinations to get into that gate 5 today. Definitely in the demos, saw a variety of different options. Oh, and a 50-second penalty somewhere. Oh, that got taken off.
Technical. I know when I was talking to some of the coaches earlier, they said the 4-5 is quite an interesting early situation.
Yeah, it's a technical move. There's a nice stopper to get you over, but you can definitely get thrown off and end up missing a gate.
See her flipping over there, rolling back up. Not actually a bad place to have that happen. She can drive back up and get over for this down gate. She's going to opt for the bogey there, going through the gate using the left poles and upstream.
So the good thing about this being an artificial course, there's no nasty rocks under to bang your head on.
Correct.
It's pretty shallow though, so if you flip in the wrong place, you can regret it.
Recently, I think Prague was, maybe for the World Championships, it was refurbished to have these rapid blocks rather than some tire
Legendary
obstacles.
tires that they had
Yeah.
for many, many years. Yeah.
Which we see now at the bottom of the course in the smaller white water. This is going to be too many touches for the final today, I think, but she's going to bring it in. No 50s.
So these are still athletes that were coming through the second run. We're going to watch Kira Kube from Germany. Spoke to her last night. She was very relaxed and looking forward to it.
Very strong German paddler. There's quite a strong contingent of C1 women in Germany coming up. We saw in Krakow.
Well, even 4 years ago in 2012, they started putting money into it. And that's
Yep.
why there's no secrets. You put money in, you have the best coaches, you get results.
Yeah, a lot of powerful strokes to get over the waves there and keep her boat running, keep her boat dry. A good cross here.
Coming from Leipzig, I guess you spend time with Franz Anton, Jan Benzian, and it's following the top guys.
And crucially, big white water. It's important. The smaller white water can be tricky, but once you're comfortable on all sizes, you see the Great Britain C1 women, really strong C1 paddlers training on Lee Valley, and that's also a big whitewater course, so it's a good tool to have. Driving her boat really well. See each stroke. Got the boat moving. Just one touch. And looking like a good run.
Using that stopper, just the edge of it to cross over into one of the more technical moves of the course. She gets a little bit stopped up, but she ends up negotiating it pretty well. Gets up nice and tight.
I think this is going to be our first time to sort of judge as a mark for the other athletes to reach for.
Yeah, I agree.
Low in that last upstream, but I think this is still going to be a very competitive time.
Yeah, she is just hammering to try to get over that finish line as fast as possible. 48 seconds faster. It's not bad.
It's no bad.
It's not bad.
And a local favorite here. We're going to see the sidelines light up again, and she looks like that she's moving very quickly through that 4-5 move. So surely she's done that surf before in training, and we're seeing it come out in the race here.
She's got a pretty fast stroke rate when she needs to get somewhere.
A little late on the spin there, like we talked about earlier. The best athletes will have that spin down before the gate so that they can push straight onto the wave and keep the boat moving, but she looks like she's recovered well from that.
Nice. She negotiated that very well.
Yeah, under pressure, catching an edge, but then bringing it back, so yeah, impressive performance here. I think we're going to see a popular bogey move there today. Driving the boat well through this stopper gives you more time to build up speed, and then you run through it better and sets up your whole 13, 14, 15 combination well. Nice switch.
And you can see there the locals, because we're only a few minutes away from the centre of Prague. So it's a great situation here, and in 10 minutes people can come and watch.
Yeah, it's why the event happens. There's been 15 World Cups here. So that's why, there's a reason why there's 15 World Cups here, and it's because you get all the locals here. The stands are going to be absolutely packed this afternoon, and it looks like they're already filling up. Especially with such a strong showing of Czech athletes. It's nice to watch here.
Good to see an athlete gain clear.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's going to be very close to the fastest time.
Really impressive performance by the local Czech.
Zagova came through in 1:28 to go, just a second ahead of Kira Kube. And it looks like it should be Claire Jacquet.
Yeah, that was negotiated quite well.
Another member of the Kayak and PY team and hailing from France.
2012, which is 4 years ago, she came 7th in the final here.
Looks like she picked up a touch there.
Turn in for the surf. That was really well done.
Yeah, that might be the tightest we've seen so far.
Choosing a wide line, going surfing on the top wave, we could see that give you a lot more time on the next skate in the combination, and that's really paid off through 9, 10, 11. That was really smooth.
Yeah, that was really, really fast. I think she went for that spin on purpose, and it looked a lot faster than some of the people who go for the direct and get caught up a little bit and end up losing fractions of seconds just trying to hold on and get out of the hole.
A lot of these athletes will be watching video of not only themselves but the top athletes that finished in the semifinal, and they'll be looking at their lines, and I think that might be a line to watch for the other athletes, and they might be taking that on in the final, so we'll have to watch and see. 0.85 down on the split. Good strong run, 3 touches so far, so a really fast run, but strong French showing here. Supporters.
Getting caught on the eddy line a little bit there, but pushed into darker water and made her way back up. We're going to see a good time here.
Into the lead by over 2 seconds and
With 3 touches.
very fast time.
Good work. So that's now 5 of the athletes along. Compatriot Cécile Tixier from France as well, who's now been on the scene a fair few years.
Yeah, a lot of French athletes in this semifinal. Good surf there. Paddling very smooth, not taking any extra strokes. Coming in nice and tight to gate number 6. She's in no rush. As a result, I think we're going to...
Well, brought up just a few kilometres down to the east, downstream from Pau, so she has plenty of opportunity to test out and live with the best all the time. 2 seconds off the pace at the moment.
A little bit low in the upstream in gate 8, but she's also opted for that surf move above 8 into 9, 10, and it's worked out well.
So if you're just tuning in, hello, good morning our time. It's 10:15 in Prague. Wherever you are in the world, this is the semi-final coming to you of the women's. Dropped a little bit low there.
Yeah, we're going to see her drive up, and we'll have to see that second split to see how much that affected her. And touch taken on in 16. She's down about 4 seconds, but given the speed of Claire Jacquet, we might see that competitive for the top 3.
Well, she was 2 seconds ahead of the rest, wasn't she? So it's together. But we do have a lot of experienced athletes, and what we find in the C1 women, it's normally you can predict pretty much 7 of the top 10 who are going to make it through.
Yeah, we've had some of them that have just been paddling for a number of years, and they've just become really dominant, and one of them coming in now, Katarina Haskova.
Won last year, which was her first ever World Cup victory, although I believe she's been on the podium 11 times and has been the world champion, and she is such a crowd favourite because she spends a lot of time coaching the kids here.
Yeah, and she's a very strong paddler. You can see every stroke she takes jets the boat forward. Punt there, that's at the first one we've seen so far?
Yeah, I think so. From the women, it's the first punt. Yeah, a real resource to the local club here, and inspiration for the local C1 women coming up. So I'm sure we'll see lots of strong young C1 Czech paddlers coming up following Moskova. And with her time up on the split, but then a touch added on, so she's just 0.89 out.
That was really fast. Good surf across the hole.
Push hard there, clean.
Another one of the many helpers in the office that make this club really function well. I know there's a couple of years ago there was huge flooding and they were all spending 18 hours a day here fixing things, but when things go well, that must be a good feeling.
Yeah, you notice at this venue, it's everyone wearing the World Cup t-shirts, helping out set course and do logistical things. They're all athletes who I recognize from training. So everyone's kind of giving back, and it's what makes this club so strong, or one of the things that makes this club so strong.
We just saw she's 2 seconds penalties, but was still up on the split.
Yeah, she's having a good run.
This is one of the few athletes who actually need her to be in the final for the local crowd.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly a contender for the podium if she's through to the final.
Let's keep watching until the end of her course, and she'll go into provisional second place. It's not a guarantee, but should be enough.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if that gets knocked off.
First of 4 Brits has taken out gate number 4. It's Jazz Royal. She's been competing on the international scale for the last 4 years now.
Part of the strong British contingent of C1 women, taking on 2 early touches, so hope to see her clean through the rest of the course to be safely through. But
training at Lee Valley definitely forces you to learn how to work with the water rather than against it. It's such a huge course.
Dropping in low from 8 to 9, you can see her spin was done slightly late, and you have to have your weight forward on your bow in order to catch those faster waves, and she had her weight back on her stern, so that pushed her past that wave, and she had to take the second one, so she's lost some time there, but worked to make it up on the bottom. See a lot of the strong C1 women paddlers switching quite seamlessly. They've practiced it 1,000 times, and they're switching when the boat is moving well downstream. So if they're driving the boat, they have speed, they're going to switch then instead of crux move or when the boat's turning and it can be unbalanced. So it's may look somewhat easy as they're switching, but
it's tough to get your hands in the right place.
Yeah.
So this time is going on. Look at that. Came second last week, I guess, in the Europeans. Just behind Kim Woods.
Very high into that last time.
Difficult at the moment. The 5th time is 1:33. I'll keep you updated with that one. Lucy Pro from France, the 3rd French athlete to go down. And Jasmine Royals fits into 6th place provisionally with a final time of 1:41, 15.4 seconds back from Claire Jacquet from France, who's 1:26.
Looking very strong earlier on in the course and clean. She's actually paddling one of the more difficult boat designs here. You'll see some wider boats for the stability, but she's got Vital 1, I believe, and it's one of the less stable boats, so she's handling it well.
Will that be peer pressure that decides the boat, or would you how many boats do you have a choice of? 10 or 5?
Any number of you can use boats. Some of them, the C1 men athletes, are using a boat that was designed 10 years ago, and some are designing or paddling some that are built this year. So it varies. Maybe like 10 to 12 boats you could choose from. And
the French athletes, actually, I've noticed, they all paddle, or they have a wider variety of boat manufacturers and designs than a lot of the other nations within all of their classes, not just C1 women.
Well, taking a few gates, but look, 9 seconds back to qualify so far. You have a bit of a breadth, but there's still 11 athletes to go.
Yeah, 4 seconds in that loop definitely aren't helpful.
Another touch, so it's going to be hard to push through those top 5 times.
They're coming down every 2 minutes, and that's why we do have to unfortunately interrupt some of the athletes. Ellie Gibson, who burst on the scene in 2014 with a wonderful World Cup performance in London.
Early touch on gate 2, coming pretty low into gate 5.
Lucy Priau provisionally moves into 7th place, coming in at 150.
Coming out of Scotland, Elliot Gibson. A late spin, she's caught that wave really nicely, and then we're going to see her high into 9 there. Nice move. 8.5 seconds down on the split, so she's going to have to pick up some time to crack into the top 5. But
Exactly, that's top 5 are 7 seconds off, then it starts to be bigger gaps.
see she's gotten stuck in that stopper, dropping her left edge coming in, and so it's easier for the water to catch it rather than a flat boat.
Yeah, she spent a couple seconds in there. I think we'll notice the times getting more competitive, closer and closer together as the last 10 or so athletes come down.
Keeping it smooth through the bottom. I think she's got keeping her composure. And just have to keep it middle of the gates and go through here.
We'll keep an eye on her time. Next to go, however, is Nura Villarubla. Here she goes from La Sédégale, and one of the real top performers who on a day is virtually untouchable.
And our first athlete just qualified, Claire Jacquet.
Ellie Gibson moves into 6th provisional place, 14 seconds back, pushing Jazz Royal into 7th, who's 15 seconds fast. But Nura Villarubla dabbles quite often in K1, but she hopefully is going to do something in C1 the next few years. I was asking her brother, who I was with in Rio a couple of weeks ago, what the plans are for Tokyo, and he said, well, she's not really thought about it yet, so we'll have to see how things go forward. But look at that, 1.6 second up at the split.
I'd be willing to bet she's thought about it, an athlete like that.
Really strong paddler, but she's always smiling out on the water and having a blast, so I think that she's probably taking it maybe year by year. She's still having fun, she's still training, which is how a lot of people view this.
That's more meaning, yeah.
Getting pretty caught up here.
Ooh,
That is not the fastest line. She did manage to pull out. We'll see what she can do with the rest of the course.
I think that we can see really aggressive paddling style and speed earlier in the course, so she may have actually been able to absorb that.
Yeah, and so tight in that last upstream.
Really nice jump through that bowl. Still up on the split after that hiccup at gate 13.
Very smooth. She's going to throw down a good time.
Nice switch as she jumps into that last upstream. A strong on the left for the finish. To see her finishing sprint.
Let's see, we'll follow her until she comes over. She will probably go in the top place. Yes, she moves in the top place, so automatically qualifies along with Claire Jacquet. And 2 athletes now qualify for the final, which, to be fair, they'd expect. Local knowledge will come into action here. It's Monika Jankova from the Czech Republic.
Yeah, we'll have to see the noise is coming up again for this local athlete, and she's looking smooth so far and clean, so starting things out well.
Nice cross on that first wave. A little bit. Actually, her spin was pretty good, and she got caught on that wave. Comes in nice and tight to the upstream. 2 seconds back on the split. It's a very manageable gap. She's definitely still in touch.
Kate Eckhart from Australia at the moment is sitting in 10th place, 53 seconds back, and she took a 50-second penalty.
Yeah, by now I think that 50 seconds going to stay.
Well, we have no
It's a
asterisks
5-minute
next to the name, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Really strong run coming together now for the Czech athlete, Jankova.
She had a bit of a loop earlier, but it looks like she's able to absorb a little bit of that time.
So I'm guessing, well, 7 seconds off, so it's still in the place. You are finishing in 8th position, 7th position if you keep that going. So far, one Czech athlete, Kateřina Hoskova, is through. Well, not guaranteed, but after this she'll be guaranteed to go in the final.
Pushing strong to the bottom here. Crowd's going to cheer her in. And we'll see where she places. Starting out now, Vicky Wolfhart, strong Austrian paddler on the C1 scene for a number of years, and medaling at the under 23 level, I think, at the World Championships and at the Europeans, so having a strong season thus far.
But she's generally, you pretty much know if you have the type of helmet that she has, you're doing something right.
Yep, Red Bull athletes are a strong team.
And Jakob Grieger
Yeah.
and his colours.
Yep, I was not surprised. We'll see him coming up in the next category.
Well, very much in touch, 1 second off the pace. Nura Villarubla, who qualified first in 1:24, followed by Klejaki, Kateřina Hoskova in 9th. 10th place is Lucy Pereira with 26 seconds back.
Taking a touch there, but looking like a good run so far for the Austrian.
Yeah, she's taking the tight lines. She had a good cross on the stopper move. Just holding on there. It's a tough approach to this upstream.
A number of these top C1 women do double up in K1. It's been fairly popular, so it'll be interesting to see how many of these we see double categories competing in Tokyo, and I think that she'll be a contender for one of those to be going in for a double title.
Watch this space, 4 years to go.
Can you compete in 3 events? Because maybe we'll have some C2 mix too.
I'm not sure the C2 mix has been ratified yet as an Olympic, but maybe going for 2024. Right, let's see, she's still in touch. Who's next to go?
It's going to be a solid time.
Lena Stockland. Vicky Wolfhard comes over into 7th rank at the moment, 10 back. We 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 athletes to go, so nowhere near guaranteed. Lena Stockland, they don't come much fitter or more determined than Lena.
Yeah, that's a bicep.
Saw her over breakfast this morning, but she's looking quite in the zone, but cool.
Looking like she has the same level of aggression and strength as her teammate Nico Becke we saw earlier. She's just pulling through each wave, and it's going to really work for her at the bottom of the course if she can keep that up. 1 touch and 5 seconds down on the split. It'll put you about 5th place and in line for a qualification, so let's hope she can keep up this pace. A 2nd touch taken on.
Bogey option. We haven't seen a lot of bogeys recently. Most people opting for the spin.
Most of these athletes would have been watching the men, so that'll give them a good idea, won't they? The advantage of coming second, so you've seen already 30 men go down, and the top athletes might have seen 1 or 2 of the women.
Yeah, for sure. Going last can be an advantage. Some people like to go first and, in a sense, get it over with, but
Catching up some time here, so only 3.36 down. Second touch, so she's gone fast through the middle section. Last big strokes here coming into the last upstream.
She medaled in the Magdeburg ranking competition silver medal earlier this year. So can perform at the highest level. You can see where she comes in. She's not as fast as the top, but let's see if she still books her pearls in the final.
I was watching this girl in training and she looked very quick.
Lena's now moved into 6th place, pushing Yasmin Royal out of the final. Ellie Gibson's in 10th place.
Just so much power. She's pushing through those waves, coming so tight to all the upstreams, so dynamic.
I think we may have seen a very small touch on 6. It's hard to see there it comes, so.
Direct.
Wow, really awesome move there.
Yeah.
A little bit low, but she kept the boat moving really well. Only 2.39 down with the touch, so she's very close to that top time by Nuria. Another touch taken on.
See if she can absorb those 6 seconds in the next part of the course. Going for another bogey. It's funny that we're seeing bogeys this late in the.
I think that for some of them through that 13-14 move, it can be good to have that speed coming out of the bogey. Sort of a trade-off you got to consider.
Yeah, definitely a lot of spins are getting caught in the hole.
Late on that turn around the wave, you'll see a lot of athletes using the corner of the wave or putting their bow slightly in to have it slide them over to the right, set them up for this move. So she's just a little late there, and we see her low in 19 as a result.
Well, 8 seconds penalties so far could be costly at the moment. 10th place, you need to be less than 16 seconds back. You need to be in 1:40. And the last 4 athletes, all really, really top athletes. So essentially, you need to be in 6th place. You need to be about 1:30 to guarantee yourself in the final. We'll keep you updated. Kimberly Woods, who's the recently crowned European champion. Let's see what she can do today.
Really strong paddler for a number of years, still under 23.
It's one of those names that you hear a lot.
We're back in Cardiff in 2012. While she burst into tears, she was only 16.
Wow.
And you knew that she was going to do something pretty special. Missed out of the team a couple of years ago, and I guess that's given extra motivation to say I've booked my place and very much back in again as well. And also very strong in the K1.
Yep.
Paulina, we just seen from Russia, she moved into 7th place, which has now pushed the second Brit out. So Ellie Gibson now in 11th place.
So we'll have to see if Kimberly Woods is going to be the only British in the final.
Mallory Franklin will be betting that she's going to make it as well.
Oh, it's fine.
She just fell off the wave there. Didn't quite get into the meet enough and had to loop that gate. But she's still clean, and I think she can probably absorb that time if she stays clean.
There goes that one touch. Good move using the wave, getting turned down. Good upstream. Taking on a second touch there, so we'll have to see some smooth paddling through the bottom to make sure this is confidently into the above 130 mark.
It's definitely in touch for it. Well,
Taking a third touch in the
that
spin.
wasn't ideal. That was good. Tracked the boat into the fast water at the deep part of the eddy and just off on her finish sprint. I think this might be a good run.
Sprint to the finish, here we go. Starting out, number 1 in the world, Jessica Fox.
Yeah. Jessica Fox.
So almost run out of superlatives, haven't we, really?
Going direct.
The good thing is, though, the fact that she only managed to do a bronze medal in the Olympics will keep her super motivated to have the whole level, winning silver in London.
Yeah, she picked up 2 world champion titles at the under-23 World Championships this year in Krakow.
In 2013, I was in the commentary here for the World Championships, and she won by something staggering, like about 13 seconds. So
yeah, I don't think anyone was surprised.
I think we've seen this category progress a fair bit, so now that gap is closed, and it's made it much more exciting, and given Jess probably some motivation to improve and push the boundaries. Always, she's still on top, but she's got that motivation right behind her, pushing her.
What's very, very rare, and I'm not sure I've seen it before, is Mother is back in Australia, analysing this from home. So hello if you're watching, and let's hit the analysis going well, but just putting together a very solid run as we speak.
One of the innovators with the switching.
Look at that, 7 seconds out.
Yeah, you can tell she's just been so smooth and she's clean. Kind of tell right off the first few gates what kind of run she's going to throw down, and that was really fast too.
Certainly some crossover from Kai to C1 here. She's already nailed down her.
And now she's just gathering intel for tomorrow as well.
Most of her racing desperately to make it to the final, and Jess is gathering intelligence for another day. Exhibition, well done. Eases over the line into first place and makes it into yet another final. 2 athletes to go. Mallory Franklin from Great Britain, who again has been around forever. Very, very tall, very reachy athlete.
Going direct through there, 2 to 3 to 4. Really well done. Wow, punt.
That was quick.
Yeah, I think this could be, see her challenge the top.
These next 2 athletes. We give Jess a run for her money.
Opting for the spin there. Falling off the wave slightly, so a little bit lower into 9. This would be a crux move. See how she handles it. Spin dropping in. Just below. Loop. The same as her compatriot, Kimberly Woods. So. Still clean. Very important if she wants to be around that 1:32 mark and into the final.
Negotiates that combination pretty well.
Really well done, very clean. We'll get a gauge here on that second split to see how she is.
She knows too, she's taking it pretty smooth, conservative, making sure she doesn't pick up any
3.61 off, so lined up for that second place if she can hold it together, or try and shave off some time from Jessica Fox.
Second place with the loop, so she's definitely been having a solid run, absorbing that time.
Good to see for fans of the sport. In 8th place, Lena Stocklin's qualified. Kim Woods, Kira Kube, Martina Stakova, Hoskova, Jacquet, Villauble and Fox. So most of the big hitters have booked themselves a place in the final, including Mallory Franklin. 1 athlete to go.
Yeah, she could see the clock as she was going down. Wasn't putting too many strokes.
And it's Nadine Ratishing, and she is one of twin sisters. Very young, but very, very accomplished.
That was nice.
Mallory Franklin moved to 3rd place.
Ended up a little bit low into that upstream.
Really aggressive paddling, just looking strong.
Whoa.
We didn't see a switch there, which is, I don't think we've seen that up down as an offside yet, maybe, but she did it really well and direct here. Wow.
Wow, she's gunning.
Maybe definitely one to look for the future.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's the
0.17
lowest line we've seen there too, I think. Most people opted
Taking the risk there through 10-11 and having it not pay off, so she's going to do the loop. But as we saw with Mallory Franklin, you can do that loop and absorb it if you had a really fast top. So 2 touches. But we'll see how this plays out.
Another touch. She's using her offside a lot more than some of the other athletes. Switching less.
the last athlete to go, so we'll have to see. The one in the bubble is Polina from Russia. It'll be her or Nadine from Austria.
Well, last athlete, as you just mentioned. Then we move on to the 40 athletes going down from the men's kayak. So it's lots of action. It's pretty much 3 hours, 3.5 hours of semi-finals.
Yeah.
So thanks, guys, for stepping in. Not a problem. Best seat in the house. You actually really have to chance to analyse what's doing, who's doing what and how. So the time to go for is anything less than 1:31.99.
It's going to be close, but I think she's going to take it.
Moves into 7th place. So the 10 finalists, I can't see any asterisks next to the name. 10th place is Lena Stocklin, and just missing out is Polina Mugaleva, and Nadine moves into 7th place. So this is going to be interesting. Jess Fox is going to be last to go in the final, preceded by Nua Villarubler, Malo Franklin, Claire Jacquet, Hoskova, Sokova. We've only got big names here. Only athletes who pretty much expect to be in the final. Wow, it's going to be interesting.
Got 2 clean runs in there. Pretty notable.
Yeah, if you look at it's typical, but if you look at the standings, it's like clean runs are all kind of concentrated at the top, and at the bottom it's where you find the most touches and 50s.
So we were a really tight race between those top 5: Hoskova, Franklin, Jacquet, Viruba, Jessica Fox. I think that the Czechs will have a lot of support for Hoskova, so we'll have to see if that drives her down the course in first place.
So athletes, and there she comes, pulling herself out of the boat, and we're going to be back with a minute to go for the K1.
Začíná Erik Holmer ze Švédska, jak už jsem předesílal, 10 hodin a 48 minut. Well, back with us now, live from Prague for the semi-finals. 40 athletes to go in, and these are the reversed order of the places they finished after the first 2 heats. The first 10 we'll see are the gentlemen who had to go in the heat 2 to qualify. That was a tough one. And then it's down to athletes, 30 athletes who came through yesterday morning in heat 1. And pretty much packed with guys at the top of the game.
We see a number of kayak athletes actually training here because it's such a strong training site. We've got like 100 gates and many races here, so you'll see a lot of Europeans based out of here. You know, Callum Gilbert spent a lot of time here. Eric Holmer bases out of here, so not necessarily Czech athletes, but a lot of inside knowledge spread across this whole field. So, and the Brazilian team as well, Pepe placing 7th in the qualifiers. That's no surprise with their inside knowledge. So it's really quite an open game in the K1 men today.
Yeah, you see 3 Czech athletes in the top 10. A couple surprising. Mathieu Biazizo had to do a second run. Eric Holmer here coming up.
Swedish nation developing a fair bit over the past couple of years. We've got their Olympian Isaac Olstrom paddling quite well, and then today, slightly younger Eric Holmer in the final actually.
Interesting.
And there's an angle, one of their coaches, Martin Brozzi, who's actually designed the course.
So presumably he had obviously from Slovakia originally, but actually presumably had a chat and said, well, I've done this and how.
This upstream gate, I think we're going to see a lot of, it's going to be fun to watch because athletes are going to go very quickly through it.
Seeing some really lines you might not have anticipated coming from Eric Holmer. We had the spin to surf move through that 3-4 and that back off just now. So not classic moves, but I mean, he's moving fast, so we'll have to see where his time ends up.
Got a little bit held up on that hole. I think this class has become very, very competitive, and people are going to have to go nearly flawless runs and clean.
Single touch on gate 7, so it seems manageable if you can power through to a fast bottom. Really fast up 19 there.
21 years old, but has been competing here for several years. In 2012, he actually competed, making just knocked out of the heats. Like you said, there's a lot of local knowledge going on.
Powering through here.
Based off that, I think we're going to see some runs in the mid-90s, maybe even breaking 95.
If we can compare that to the C1 men,
Same
we
time
had
as Benjamin.
Benjamin Safsack with actually a 97 plus 2, so the same. Eric Holmer a 97, 99 plus 2, so I think that we'll see the K1 man going into the low 90s, if not a very high 80.
Yeah.
Janos Petelin from Slovenia. Let's see how he goes now.
Really strong technical athlete, training a lot in Pau, France. See how he manages this, going direct, surf move, really fast.
Yeah, I think that might have been faster than the spin.
It's hard being one of the early boats in this semi-final, actually, because you maybe want to get creative and find a fast line like Eric Holmer did on that spin move to the surf, but you don't have the opportunity to watch the other athletes go, so.
Well, that's your fault for not doing too well in the heats.
I suppose so.
Getting a little bit caught up there. It's a tough cross.
Really strong through that offset. Quite a hard dive into the hole. I think we'll see all of them going direct on that move. Late touch picked up on 15. Not sure where on the boat or the paddler. Really strong cross there.
Yeah, just kept the boat running in and out of the upstream. That wasn't quite as fast as we saw Eric do. Coming pretty low into that last upstream. Yeah, I definitely think you're right about the low 90s.
Another 97 plus 2, but I think that both of them had some mistakes.
Yeah, he knows it.
As a K1, Keenan, where do you think the spot to catch up time on this course is going to be? What's the line to cut?
I think you kind of just need to be really fast doing the left or right cross on that first hole, and all the upstreams need to be near flawless. And yeah, 4 to 5. I think we're going to see potentially some people even skip that wave. But we've yet to see.
Maybe someone will show us.
Yeah, I think that'd be really tough, actually.
HN Dai, completely dominant in the 2012 season, coming in here.
It was actually extraordinary, wasn't he? Because he won and won and won.
It was amazing. And then going off the French team, which always shows you the depth. And now he's back on the senior team, back on the World Circuit. So we'll have to see he's back in it. It's a really fast run so far. Also taking the back off there in gates 7, 8, like Eric Holmer.
Knows his course quite well. Has a Czech mother and was born in Prague.
Yep. Can't be bad to have one parent from France and one parent from the Czech Republic. Built a kayak, canoe slalom.
Yeah. That was quick.
Small touch there.
2-second penalty.
You'll see HN with a unique style of boat. Not many people paddling the Winter Pro, a French company with some radical ideas, but clearly Etienne can put it down as fast as anyone. So
Is it similar to a C1?
not necessarily, just some really big volume change between the bow and the stern, and a very flat kayak actually. His father Jerome died putting in some input on the design there.
And moves into first place, 98.84. But you're the experts, and you're saying, will that be good enough?
I don't think
I
so.
don't think so. Yeah, it's just going to be very, very fast today. Especially in Prague, I don't think we're going to see a touch is potentially going to throw you out of the final, and just even getting caught up anywhere.
Really strong season coming through for Andre Malik so far.
Medaled at the under 23 World Championships.
And at the Europeans, I think, actually.
Yeah, he just caught the end of that wave there.
There's quite a young contingent in the K1 men category coming out of Slovakia. We had Mato Halchin recently as one of the more veteran paddlers, but now Grigar and Andre Malik paddling really fast lately. So
that was really good. The direct, fast upstream, getting caught up a little bit there. Let's see how he can shoot that. That was fast.
We saw he didn't use the hole as much there in gate 13. He just sort of jumped through the middle, which is a lot more reliable. You're not relying on that wave to push you over to the right. You're just making it happen yourself. So really strong run coming together.
Yeah, I picked up a 2-second penalty on. He tried to cut a line pretty tight, ended up knocking the pole, trying to head duck it.
But as you see on the screen, he's still 1.2 seconds up on the split so far, which is good news. You need to be what? You need to be 3 or 4 seconds faster to put yourself through?
Yeah, I think that around the 94, 93 mark, we might see a cutoff for the finals. So this might be a better gauge for where we want to see the top guys go.
Interesting that nobody's gone clean so far. A lot of touches yesterday, and so far a lot of touches today.
Really tight times right now in those first 4 to go.
So far 4 athletes of 40, so 36 athletes going down. So should really start to have some sort of pattern. A good surprise maybe, Callum Gilbert.
Kiwi athlete.
Actually, a strong season for him in terms of qualifying for semifinals. I believe in Evrea and in Po. He was through to the semifinals. He's getting more consistent. He's always had some really fast speed there for him, being in the finals for the Junior World Championships in Australia in 2014. And fun guy off the water, and hoping to see a really awesome performance from him today. Great up.
Kept the boat running. Just being patient on that move there. Goes for the direct.
A part of the younger contingent out of New Zealand to sort of fill the shoes of Mike Dawson and Luca Jones, who are their more veteran athletes, and Finn Butcher, Callum Gilbert.
And they spent some time here this summer, I believe. Finn has.
Yeah, there was a couple of the juniors here at the beginning of the summer as well. Spent a couple months in Europe.
I know one workout he was practicing the upstream left 5 in the qualifiers for an entire workout. Clearly he's in the semifinals, so it paid off.
Yeah, it's like a classic Prague move.
Moving really smooth through the bottom of the course here. Clean, crucially, no one's been clean so far. 1.1 up on the split.
Yeah, good call.
Let's go.
Well, the crowd quiet, which is always a good sign in Prague if you're from some different country.
Yeah.
I'm sure the Kiwis are running down, cheering as hard as they possibly can.
Yeah. Oh, a little bit low there.
So Luca Jones hasn't made the trip. Mike Dawson arrived on Tuesday with a sore wrist, and he's going to be joining us in the final for the K1. Well, Callum Gilbert moves to first place.
Right on.
Awesome.
5 athletes gone.
I think he'll be pleased to have a clean run.
We'll ask him. But I think that's fairly safe though. No one's not going to be pleased to have a safe run.
Yeah.
Young Zeno Ivaldi.
paddling a fair bit here, taking on that early touch.
Yeah, his first offset looked quite smooth, but then a couple strokes too many to get, oh yeah, he's stuck there too.
I believe earlier this year actually taking on an injury in their senior selections, so I think he actually had to drop out of the running for that Olympic spot. But then back stronger later this summer when I was speaking with Vittori. He's back to training and in form, clearly stepping into the semifinal.
Well, given a 50 at the moment. Did you see that?
I didn't. It seems like he knows it though. He's not. He took a spin there and he's not paddling it full force.
It's hard to say when they're just trying to go smooth and keep it really conservative, or if they're sort of aware that it may have been a penalty that ended the run really fast through there.
He seems to be like ducking his head a little bit. Who knows?
Good encouragement as we hear in the background. So far the top time is 98.79 by Callum Gilbert, and Zeno is the 6th athlete of 40 to go.
It's like not today for Zeno.
Well, even with if hypothetically the 50 came off, there's 2 other penalties which could be expensive out there.
He must have really missed a gate because his run time was very
I think it was on gate 11, just out of the hole. Yeah, we're going to replay it here. Can't even see his head. It goes down so far. But
well, we'll leave it to the judges. Marcel Lepozzi from Hungary.
Strong paddler.
early touch.
Coming through.
So far this year, he's been in all 3 World Cups and made heats in the first 2 and actually made it through to the semis where he came 23rd in pole.
Hungary are a really strong nation in the sprint canoe kayak side, but less so in the slalom. But it's like with Potocny developing more. Nice move through there, keeping it clean.
Yeah, he's paddling relaxed. He's not rushing anything.
I think that one touch it may be able to absorb it and make into the final with a really fast run, but there goes 2, so I think that it may not be today for Marcel.
Yeah, a couple seconds behind before.
Twice been in once or twice. Yes, he's actually did the C1 and the K1 in here a couple of years ago. K1 he came 40th.
Fans cheering him on and finish off that run.
That's not getting in trouble. It moves into 6th of 7th place.
Another junior coming up next.
Yeah, exciting prospect. It's always I speak to the Austrian coaches, it's always a challenge for the juniors in Austria because they need to decide whether they put their school exams back or they take their school exams. Felix has his final exams I believe next year, so that's going to be his challenge. Whether he takes them in June or do they defer them to October. Mario Leitmer's got exams next week, that's why he's not going to be in Tessen.
Oh wow.
This week apparently his mind's on there. We'll see him in a few minutes.
Felix captured a silver medal in the Junior World Championships this year. I'm sure he'll be looking to add the gold next year if he's still a junior.
Under 23 next year maybe. He's still a beauty. Good upstream there. 0.6 up on the split.
Well, Felix is only 17 still, so...
I was wrong. He's my age, that's good to know.
It's funny, we've seen a big age gap in some of the Austrian paddlers. We went from Helmut Oblinger being very dominant in the Austrian scene to Mario actually capturing the Olympic spot, and Felix, 2 very young paddlers coming in really strong.
They're obviously doing something correctly, aren't they? Helmut, we've seen him around this weekend because obviously he's taking on the coaching duties of his wife, Violetta.
looking like a strong run so far, except these 2 touches are going to hold him back.
So the only downer for Austria is with Karina Kudla. She was suffering, she was in bed yesterday morning and she didn't actually make it to the start line, unfortunately, K1, so I hope she's recovering quickly.
That last upstream is pretty shallow. You could hear him scrape his paddle on the ground there.
Well, the fact that he's taken an awful lot of touches, 6 seconds in touches, it's still...
And he's still 1.3.
It's not too bad, is it?
Yeah, not bad at all. It was a run time.
I think that's a good indication of where we're going to see some of those top guys in the next 22 boats. Another Austrian paddler.
Coming thick and fast. This is Matthias Veger.
Another one of those international athletes that's basing out of Prague a lot, so a lot of experience here, and we'll hope to see that experience pay off in this run.
Are you tempted to yourself? What are your plans? Are you tempted to come to Europe a bit more?
Yeah, I try to come as much as possible. I've got another year of high school. I think after that I'll probably start looking at it even more, because it's...
So for university, will that be in the States or Canada or here?
I haven't really decided yet. Probably Canada. Looking at some schools in Europe, though. That was a really nice upstream. And he's up on the split.
The best time and the best split, number 1 for Matthias Felder from Austria, 20 years old man.
Really good paddling here from Matthias, keeping it clean and very tight there, but looking good.
Yeah, that's just textbook paddling right now.
I think I'll be seeing him actually later today in the slalom cross heats. So.
Oh yeah.
So.
Well,
right, look at this.
Hopefully you're looking back at him. Yeah,
there's
still up on
a
the split.
huge starting ramp, which looks very exciting, just next to the start line. That's if you are watching Central European. There was a bit of a duck there. Central European time. It's going to be from 3 until 4:30. And stacks of athletes.
And it's going to be quick because there's a lot of heats and semis in 2 and an hour and a half.
We'll be putting it on the live feed if you'd like to listen and watch it. Anyway, coming over 4 seconds of penalties may be expensive.
Really unfortunate to see those 2 penalties in the last 4 gates. That's just brutal.
Yeah, he's...
Well, 9 athletes gone. So what's the key here to put yourself through?
Definitely going clean, staying on the front of your boat, not going too crazy. It's like you're going to notice, especially, well, Mathieu Piaciso is a perfect example. He's perfectly straight up his whole run long. Conservative, not conservative. He's smooth paddling, French style. I think we'll see him throw down a good time. Be a good indicator of what you should do. And
we all saw him in Liptovsky last year where he put a demonstration on. I don't know if you saw that, but he took everyone else apart.
Yeah. He's a world-class paddler. Really made a name for himself recently. Designed the Salto, which a lot of paddlers are in now. It's the Vada boat he's in right now. That was pretty smooth. He's picked up a touch early in the race. We'll see if he can absorb that. Bit of a surprise yesterday. He didn't qualify on his first run. Picked up a few too many penalties.
Made the finals in Po, made the finals in Seo, and was actually second in Po. As you mentioned, he's one of the very top.
Yeah, he's definitely one of the top. You see he's wearing the number 2 bib. He is paddling a little bit choppier than normal, getting caught up in one of the earlier holes there. That was good. Another touch. Don't think that's going to be enough today.
Well, only comes into 5th rank, and the fact that we have 30 athletes to go, that's... don't have any inside information, but that's a bit of a surprise, perhaps.
Yeah, the French team is here on their own accord right now. They're not like the kayaks. They're not with the team. They're just kind of here as freelance. So perhaps that has something to do with it.
Anyway, Mario Leitner, who I mentioned a couple of minutes ago, has the final school exams. He's 19, so he needs to get them out of the way. negotiated in the summer that he can do them now, and he's spending all his free evenings studying on Miss Tatson, but he's really exciting prospect with his sister.
Yeah, I watched him skateboard up to the course today, looking pretty relaxed. Hopefully he can transfer that into his paddling and absorb that 2-second penalty picked up on gate 5.
This is your peer group. Do you have a model? Do you have someone or are you pretty much your own man?
There's definitely a couple guys I look up to. It was cool. It's my first World Cup, so I got to see them all race in person. It's
Who are they? Let's name the big ones.
I like Boris Nader. I really like Grigar, mostly because he's so young and so good. I think Boris Nader might be my favorite.
I was speaking to Boris yesterday, and I said, "Are you going to go on to Tokyo?" He said, "Well, funny, I'm actually enjoying it at the moment."
Yeah.
So he no decisions made, but he said, "I'm really enjoying it." And the French trials, he was just beaten by faster man of the day.
Yeah.
Anyway, here we go. This
French
is
trials are an interesting process.
you're like, no, 6 seconds of penalties. A lot of penalties coming down today. Only one athlete so far only one athlete down so far free, and that was Callum Gilbert.
It's not his day. Put in a crossbow right there. We saw Kauser do that in the Olympics after he got a couple touches. Maybe that was his inspiration.
Well, back to studies, unfortunately.
Yeah. Sometimes when you pick up an early touch, it kind of throws you off, and he's paddling a little bit. He was a little bit out of control for the rest of the run. Portuguese athlete trains in Po.
Looking really strong in those first couple gates in the offset.
Yeah. This guy's one of the nicest guys on the water.
Competing in both C1 and K1 at times.
Nice.
So they made 3 semi-finals.
Very relaxed through that offset. I think it's going to pay off. Yeah.
With that 2 seconds off. This is the first good run, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, I got a little bit caught up there. I probably just lost a second. Maybe another second right there. That's a tough section. Just a little bit late.
Looks like he's getting back into his zone right here. Smooth.
It's one of those courses that you just need to be so early. There's a feature every 10 feet.
There's no downtimes, though.
Yeah, there's none. It goes into the hole.
Much deeper than we usually see athletes, and takes a risk on the duck there, but
And crosses high, too.
But what's interesting to note is from a completely amateur perspective, you turn up and you go, oh. But so many athletes say it's one of their favourite courses.
Prague?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good place to train. There's a million different combinations you can do. Yeah, and the atmosphere is pretty unreal.
Antoine, we won't be seeing you again. Thank you very much. Today moves into provisional 8th place with still 27 athletes to go. 2008 Olympics were rather good for this next athlete, Alexander Grimm, who puts his rather large frame into these boats.
Yeah, he has an interesting, since he's so tall and so strong, his paddle stroke is so quick. It's just an interesting thing. It's fun to watch.
A bit like the French is, if you actually make the German team, it's already a huge exploit.
Yeah, there's just so many of them.
yeah, I think we're going to be seeing 3 of them in the semifinal today.
Sebastian Schubert was the fastest down.
Yeah, he had an unreal run. Taking some interesting lines, too.
Nothing too notable. Oh, there we go. Just below 13, he's going to have to loop up for that. So I think it's going to be
Over for him today.
no final for Alexander Grimm.
Made the final in Seo when he came 4th, but just missed out, coming 11th in Ivrea and 12th in Po. So
So ranking quite high, actually. In terms of the
Ranking
World
very
Cup
well,
circuit.
but maybe have some regrets. But one would suggest not today.
Yeah. You can't. The past 9 World Cups have been won by 9 different kayak men, so it's sort of just
Wow.
it's such a tight class.
Although it's fairly unusual to see that dominance that we saw in 2012 with Etienne Dye. It's quite unusual to see that.
Well, he comes over the line, Alexander Grimm, and moves into 10th place. But I know for 2012, not to be controversial, but I think there's some interesting judging in, was it La Salle? And there's something just missed. Anyway, he was given the official win.
It's often the case. We saw Joe Clark take a win here, but then lose it because of boat control. His boat was light. It was pretty heartbreaking. Made up for it this year.
Nick tested from Slovenia.
A couple of lower-ranked Slovenian kayaks in this race, but phenomenal kayakers nonetheless.
And
Really
with
good
their local
technically.
water, it must be great. With Salkin and Tassen.
Yeah, good season for the Slovenian fans. Picked up 2 seconds early on in the course. Won't be helpful.
Really good upstream on the right there.
Yeah.
Certainly has a race plan that's to make the finals, but those 2 touches might hold him out.
Yeah, you kind of got to put it all out there to make the final. Yeah.
Paddling very well. A little bit caught up in that upstream, but I
Yeah,
think
that offset was
we
really
can see
nice.
this kayak in the finals another day, but it looks like with 4 touches, this is going to be the day.
It's a fast course, isn't it? There's a lot of water coming down here.
Yeah, there's just, you're always using the water, and if you're not doing well.
So is it exhausting, or is the fact that water's going, if you're clever and manage to find your lines, can you actually use the water?
I think if you're clever, you can do a lot of better. You can definitely go a lot faster, and in that case, you're not too tired so that you can do this wickedly long finish sprint.
It's all about staying on top of every single feature. You keep your boat light and high in the water. You see the Czech athletes taking those big strokes timed perfectly to jump over every peak of every wave, sweep every up, and you see them so fast. So if you're not doing that, then you're going to get really tired on this course, hitting so many waves. So it makes Prague such a challenge, but really fun because of all those features.
Depends on your style too. You got polar opposites like Favre, who's huge, and Yuri, who's not the biggest guy.
He's getting bigger though, isn't he?
Yeah, he is actually. I've been noticing that.
Thomas Bessenger, French representing Argentina, based down in Po. Done a really good season so far, 7th, 6th, and 7th in the World Cup finals.
I think also a kayak MPY member.
Yeah, stick around some.
Really composed paddler, similar to a lot of French style, upright. Control. Nice upstream. Single touch so far, but it's looking like a nice run coming together. Stuck there slightly.
Yeah, a lot of athletes are turning their boat a little bit more than they need to in that gate because the water swings your stern around and they'll have to recorrect. Lose a little bit of time.
A dive to down in the hole though. Kept his boat really light, kept it really flat, it ran really well.
Definitely.
1.09 up on the split with his touch.
It's all gone wrong.
Catastrophic. Oh, his paddle is
broken.
Well, it came apart.
Oh,
Yeah,
we've
broken.
seen him do a back deck roll, and he may have clipped that left blade on the bottom, and he's now going to finish with one blade.
He should grab that blade. I don't know.
I remember the last time seeing this.
Okay, keep going. Well done.
Maybe he'll hand paddle the rest of the course.
Keep going.
Yeah, go for it. That's good. Good to see.
Canadians with experience in this type of scenario. John Hastings having broken a paddle in Bourg St. Maurice and finished with one blade, actually. So
Well, these things happen,
Surprised he didn't
unfortunately. Look, there you go.
Yeah, it's pretty
let's see if
shallow
it's
right
on
there.
when he comes back up. So yeah, it does go off.
Yeah, I saw him hit that left blade on the ground.
Oh, it's come out quite cleanly.
Yeah, I thought it might have just been the blade slid out, but that would be weird.
Now the Slovenian, Jan Jask.
Yeah, he didn't even really use the wave there.
A lot of hard work to get to the top of the wave after not using the curler. So,
Yeah.
but if he's got the fitness for it, then it should be a fast line.
This guy spent some time training in Po as well. Seems to be a good training site. A lot of the top athletes have been there this year.
And also the World Championships coming to Po next year in 2017, so it's not a surprise. We see a lot of athletes planning for that, getting used to the course and preparing for that next world title.
There's always planning in these guys, isn't there? You're always looking 4 years, 8 years, and then 2 years ahead, I guess.
Always.
It's going to be a huge World Championships.
I believe it combines downriver and slalom.
Well, it's fun this year. They weren't very lucky with the weather, but it was certainly
2.66
well organised.
seconds on the split.
Really strong run coming together for this Slovenia.
Oh,
Single touch.
Can he make his first final? So far this season made two semis.
There we go. A new leader.
Well done. So 16 athletes now gone, and we do have our new leader, 97.88. So 24 left to go.
Jordi Cadena, a younger Spanish athlete, training in close to Laseo and in Sort, just 40 minutes away.
So they do a lot of the freestyle.
Yeah, they do a lot of freestyle in Sort. Good style, very dynamic on the blade, moving it quickly.
yeah, I think we're going to see some slippery upstreams here. Yeah, he likes the sweep ups.
Another touch added. These are very small. It's hard to notice them sometimes on the video screen, but it's very narrow margins out there racing in Prague. So it's either just the smallest clip, like that one, or it can be a big hit with your bow. So they all count.
He opted to not really surf across that last hole and kind of come straight down on the green gate, which is something we haven't really seen yet.
I'm not sure we've seen him in a World Cup final yet, so I think he's really out to get there into that final. He's putting it all on today. 3 touches isn't going to have him in, but certainly on another day with a clean run, has the speed to be in that final.
Tell me what's happened.
3 touches. He kind of probably got to his head and he just missed that gate.
I think we can also maybe see a different boil in that diagonal. Most boats, they're angling left just slightly, and you expect that diagonal to push you all the way over into the gate. And if you drop your edge a little wrong, or the water hiccups just that 1 in 10 times, then maybe you can miss it. So that on top of the run not really coming together, I think we saw him miss that gate.
Yep.
Very tight.
Next to go for Slovakia, Matis Rusha.
He's been moving really fast. We had a training slot with the Slovakians, and smooth and tight.
So far this year in world ranking, in 2 world rankings in fact. So Markelberg came 5th and in Bratislava came 5th, so he knows how to handle the big water.
For sure. That was a nice upstream.
Czechoslovakia, really strong team now.
Yeah. I can't remember them being weak.
2 medals in Rio, of course.
Yeah.
And I think that actually for Slovakia, canoe slalom is their only Olympic medals. And I may have heard that wrong, but a commentator when I was down there in Rio had mentioned that that was their lead
That's it.
sport out of all of it. It's canoe slalom.
And Mardikin got their first Olympic medal. His
96.
first Olympic medal.
When he was 17, so that's your age.
Yep. Makes me feel great.
Okay, here we go. 4 seconds off the pace at the moment. Motivates you, that's the idea.
Yeah. 50.
Another athlete taking a bad bounce with that diagonal, not really coming together for him. So a lot of athletes, you sort of build confidence throughout the run. Those first 6 gates, you get them down, you get them clean, you start to get into the zone, more fluid strokes, and then it carries through all the way into the bottom. So you'll see if you had a really great first 19 gates, then at 20 is going to flow really well. So a couple of these guys with 1 or 2 touches coming down, the confidence isn't building throughout the run, and you see more hiccups at the bottom of the course like that. That's how whitewater slalom is.
Sounds so simple.
Yeah.
Fastest run time.
I remember back in 2012 speaking with Yuri Priskovich. He mentioned that if the first 6 gates go well for him, the whole run's going well.
We'll see in a few minutes. It's Isak Ostrom again for Sweden, second Swedish bench each day.
Yet another kayak MPY. Remember? Wait.
Is this Olympic boat? One of them.
Taking a touch and missing that first wave there is
Where they touch on that upstream there.
Already 6 seconds back, so it's not going to see him in the final. And another 2 seconds, unfortunately.
has a 4th touch, so I think we can safely eliminate Isaac out of this race for today, but on to the next one for him.
So Liam Smedley, were you down in Rio to motivate yourself? Were you watching one of the family, or?
Yeah, there to support my brother and cheering him on, and yeah, it's just part of the Canadian contingent and cheering on Michael as well. So it was a really awesome experience.
Did you have a chance to try out the course?
No, I didn't. It was really unusual to watch a slalom course where you've never paddled the race live, at least. You're usually like sort of moving your body, swaying, moving your arms as they go down the course because you're visualizing yourself doing it. But it's harder to do that when you haven't actually paddled it. So it was really funny that way.
Well, not disrespect, but it was never going to happen, unfortunately, with 8, 9, 11, 12. You see the gates for yourself. So Isak Ostrom is not happy with his performance today. Next to go, representing Poland.
Yeah.
It's Maciej Okolak. Shirts coming off in the, or jackets rather, coming off in the commentary box because we have a smart porter cabin which tends to absorb the heat a little bit.
Yeah.
Next to the finish line. Anyway, let's see how he can go.
Paddling smoothly so far. Polish style, very dynamic, very strong athletes.
And there's something about his boot.
Also an Olympic athlete.
Yeah.
Just got that sticker on there. I think also under 23 at the moment.
Yeah. A little bit of controversy surrounding the Olympic boats in Poland this year. Deciding who is going to go.
Many good kayaks, so it's always a tight race.
Yeah.
We have Mattis Polacek going a little bit later. Anyway, he's only 1.3 seconds off. At the moment, the top 10 times are all within 5 seconds of each other.
Yeah, and they're still pretty high in the 90s. That'd be interesting. to see if we're still.
If you look at the ranking of most of the athletes who've gone, there's not that many surprises. I suppose Matthew Biazizu was a surprise not to go through, but the rest of them are probably going through the present level. Moves into 6th place and has some regrets out there.
Yeah.
I think we have yet to see an athlete really piece together every single move in this course and piece together a clean run. With
I think it's going to happen.
Callum Gilbert with a clean run so far.
Next to go Anderson from Australia.
Really strong paddler, really dynamic.
Super nice guy. Lent me a paddle earlier this week.
That's the definition of a nice guy.
Oh yeah.
Fair enough.
Coming a little low, but powering up through 5. It may not show in the results, but Tim actually with a really strong performance in Krakow, Poland, placing 9th in the semifinal, but then not qualifying for the final due to an unfortunate failure in his life jacket, which was really unfortunate. But he's paddling well, and I think he's just put that performance behind him, and he's going to carry the confidence into this World Cup.
So Lucien Delfort, Jackson Merritt not here this weekend. Chance for some of the young guns to have a go.
I think we have a really promising contingent from Australia. They've been paddling really fast. Dan Watkins and Tim Austin and Ben Pope are all moving really fast these days. So
Watkins picked up a 50 yesterday, but he would have had quite a good time.
only 3.76 down.
We're going to see Danny Watkins in a few minutes.
Maybe that was on the C1.
Maybe a tight call, so
Yeah.
may have been a
Anyway, so far his run.
I think it's been quite solid. It's unfortunate
touch
to see
there.
that touch because a clean run is looking like what you need.
Yeah. It would have been a great time.
Now the last gate, that always hurts.
Right, 4 seconds of penalty have come on. Without that, he would have taken good position.
101 would have put us in about 10.
He's smiling. That's good.
Moves into provisional 15th place. Next to go from Spain, David Lorente.
David, a good friend, he recently also actually dislocated his shoulder ocean surfing last summer in his kayak, so then he's recuperated from that and strength trained like there's no tomorrow, and then he's back on the scene right here, so good for him, and really stoked to see him in this semifinal. Nice up.
And last year clearly came, was it second in the under 23 Worlds?
Yeah, the silver medal in Brazil in Foz do Iguaçu.
Well, look at that. Up on the time so far.
Yeah.
Ducking and diving.
That was smooth too.
Might have been a small touch on his life jacket there. There it is, 10 and 11 actually, so really unfortunate. Oh, just coming below 13, so
It's incredible how quick it can end.
very narrow margins. Always in canoe slalom, but notably in Prague.
Well, the crowd fairly subdued. They're waiting for the next compatriot to come down. Nine seconds off the pace at the moment, so it's not going to set. So far, it is Slovenia leading with 97.88. 10th place as we speak is 101. So only 4 seconds back.
Surprisingly high 90s so far. It actually gives some context to how fast Benjamin Safsek was with the 97+2.
Wow. So David there goes into provisional 16th place and the second Aussie to go down. Let's have a look in a minute. Daniel Watkins. Didn't he suffer from injury last year?
I can't recall. believe he raced both categories in Brazil and also racing both categories in Krakow.
Let's see if that was clean. He had a good surf across that wave, put him in a really nice position for the upstream. Just hitting the bottom a little bit on that one. You can hear his friends cheering him on.
Giving him a 2-second penalty.
He's following the ranks of Vavra and Mike Dawson, actually competing recently in a couple of creek races, the doubles race in Czech Republic, placing third. So one of those athletes that loves to get out paddling in all disciplines, and also a strong slalom paddler.
Yeah, I heard a couple of the guys talking about sick line registry yesterday, trying to warm up. I see more and more slalom paddlers doing those extreme races.
Looking like a strong run so far, just the one touch, 3.14 off, so
that was really smooth.
Yeah. I think if he can power through the bottom, we may see competitive time, given the current standings.
There's no rush in Daniel Strokes during this run.
So you're impressed with what you see, both of you?
Yeah.
He's got a good run and fast.
Really strong sprint here.
Jeez.
Wow.
Impressive.
Well, provisional first
Very
place.
impressive.
Are you happy? Did you see the touch on gate number 6?
I did not. Small one. Oh, no, yeah.
Here we go.
I think it's just here at the blade.
Oh, with this blade, yeah. It's too bad.
But
Well, that could be expensive.
top of the
But
leaderboard.
so far moves into provisional first place, which is good. Dariusz Popiela, another very fit athlete from Poland.
Yeah, I've seen him in a lot of finals this year on the circuit.
I think we've had a hard time finding an athlete from Poland not fit.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Really smooth flat turn there.
That's the
High
best
up
we've seen
right.
yet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you mentioned, he came third in Ivrea, came 9th in Sale.
Little hit on the stern, actually, on the bottom of the river there, but
Kept it turning, which is nice. Unreal. Yeah, 4 seconds. If he holds on to this, I think this might be our first really fast run that we'll see today. Caught up a little bit.
way to get that bow over the hole. Small touch on 12.
Well, this is a very impressive run.
Another
2 seconds
touch.
of penalty seven. 4 now.
Yeah.
But given his 4.5 second lead earlier,
Yeah, he's
that's
still
a-
ahead.
Well, this is going to be the 95 clear time that you're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, pushes into the back there. Exits.
Oh, it's another expensive
Another
2-second
touch.
penalty.
There is, spends a lot of time training in Po. Said that a lot of the athletes these days there.
Well, that's expensive.
Yeah,
and
there you
out
go.
of the final.
94 run time.
Moves into 11th place so far. Daniel Watkins from Australia leading with 97.65.
We're going to start seeing some cues pop up pretty soon.
Well, Paul Bockelman, who's been in and out of the team for the last couple of years, but can put some extraordinary runs together, specifically in Augsburg.
Yeah, I was watching him training the other day and I was quite impressed. Him and one of his teammates, a C1 teammate, did it up at the exact same time because he came so tight and just like swept under them.
Very good composure there. Coming just a bit too low for the sweep up, but then pulling it off.
The first split, I think it's fast. And it's very fast, 2.66 up.
Yeah. See what he can do here. I think he saved that pretty well. I don't think he would have lost too much time.
So really taking the high-risk approach.
Yeah, and that was also really good because he stayed in the current. He didn't go too far into the eddy, which is risky, but paid off in the end. And he's paddling smoothly now. He's
It has picked up 2-second penalty at 15.
Yeah, these are all been really small touches, big swingers.
Still, well, he's given back the 2 seconds he had, but still nearly a second up.
Well done. If you can keep it together, go through the middle of these next 2 gates.
Well, he needs to, because there's 15 athletes to go, and they're all top performers.
I think we might need to see the leader. It's gonna be tight, just barely.
Yes. Well, 15 to go, as I say. Doesn't look delighted.
Focusing in on some of the German supporters there.
This is
Grieger.
Freshly minted helmet.
Yeah. But it's an extraordinary talent, isn't it? Exciting
Absolutely.
prospect. And always smiles at cameras.
He looked so good in Krakow. His runs is just so smooth, so tight,
So good.
so nice.
Really phenomenal style. He, whether it's just him or it's being a younger athlete who's pushing onto the senior scene, he's like just paddling so hard into every offset. He doesn't even regard some of the waves some of the time, and it can be risky, but if you just have your eye on the next gate and you drive towards it, 1.43 up. So.
He's always smiling. Says hi to everyone.
There
Yeah,
we go.
see, he did the same thing as last athlete there, stayed in the current, paid off, was very fast. Yeah, this is a run to look for.
This is, I want to go in the final run.
Yeah, exactly. This is a I belong in the final run.
Okay, well, 4 seconds up, look at that.
Yeah, no surprise.
Could also be I just had 6 Red Bulls run.
Yeah.
Well, we won't comment on that, but he has a lot of talent there.
See some wings on the back there.
Ooh.
Oh no!
2 seconds still, could be costly.
One touch, which is
Yeah.
really strong sprint here.
So his run time is. Yeah,
Wow.
93.
That's getting closer to where I think we're going to see some of those top times.
Yeah, and I think in the final, when people can correct those little mistakes, I also think we'll see some runs in the final that just fall apart.
Ale naprosto suverénně nejrychlejší. The best time of Israel, 95.73.
Next to go, Bradley Falls Cryans from Great Britain, Scotland more precisely. Here we go.
Really strong young GBR paddle. I think he's training with Joe Clark a lot of the time, so that Olympic champion caliber has had him pushing hard.
And hi to Joe Clark. A couple of days ago, he was carried high on his canoe through the streets of Stone. 6,000 people turned up to say hello.
Wow.
So it shows that what a local hero he is.
Yeah, I'm sure Bradley is training hard and looking into the next 2020, so it starts now.
Yeah, keep that British team as strong as it is, getting Olympic championships, and always having so many boats in the semis and in the finals.
Really nice run coming together right now for Bradley, at least. Very smooth.
Yeah, that was quite good. I think that might be the best one we've seen.
Well, so far it's all working out.
Yeah, that's a final caliber run. And that's a finish sprint. Jeez, he's going
Wow,
quick.
he's really going for it. Do we have a new leader? No. Well,
Yeah, a little
fifth
grunt.
place and clean though.
Cues, yeah.
So the first clean in the top 10. Samuel Ernans, who on his day, there aren't any quicker. big surprise there's no K1s in men, rather, in Rio.
Yeah.
Because the equipment broke, wasn't it, in London?
I think a couple times actually, not only in London, but in selections the following year. He's had some really bad luck with paddles.
What company of paddle is it paddling right now?
I think it might be different now than what he was breaking, hopefully.
Yeah.
Just 0.34 off, so certainly competitive with Grigar's really fast run.
Yeah, he just lost a little bit of time in that cross there, but I don't think it's going to hurt him too much.
Similar style through that move to Grigar, staying in the current, pulling through.
He's one of those paddlers with enough experience that he can recover from little mistakes and just stay on a solid run. See, so many people are touching gate 15. They're all really small touches.
We mentioned a few minutes ago the interesting stat that the last 9 races have been won by different athletes, and Samuel won the last one.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh, I think that was a 50.
Have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Really
Well,
tricky
be
if that
given a 50.
It's too bad.
Time's fast though. Doesn't believe it. Well, we'll have to see what the judges say. So provisionally either well out of it or either first place with 13 athletes to go.
as things go with the small margins in slalom.
Oh, they're showing us a replay of this. I want to see the 50.
There you go.
Oh, that was actually close.
Let's thank you very much for your replay operators. 2 seconds later, we have Grant on the screen. It's Boris Nevu from France, who is really one of the top. He said he was more disappointed to miss out in the London Games than the actual Rio Games, which is he's one of the top 2 or 3. Oh, he's big whacking there.
Yeah, that's uncharacteristic. Such a smooth
I
paddle.
may have thought he was already through gate 4 and then his top blade just caught it slightly, because usually he's very calculated, very smooth, very knowing how close he is to each gate. So
Yeah, he's one of my favorite guys to watch.
yeah, absolutely.
So easy for him to just be so precise. A little bit.
Certainly amazing to watch on Po, transferring his style nicely here. He's paddling well, but
No wasted strokes.
Yeah, that's the first attempt at a punt we've seen.
in the K1 category.
Yeah.
But sadly, 4 seconds off the pace.
Certainly hasn't had the same fluidity that Grigar had going gate to gate to gate. So
10th position at the moment is 3.8 off the pace. So he needs to come up with 12 top athletes to go.
nice last upstream. Pushing hard now for that final.
Got back a little bit of time there.
He moves into provisional 6th place, as we've seen. I think we should expect some noise in a minute. Andre Duncan.
Yep.
Less mediatized than than Vit and Yuri and Radva, but very fast.
Yeah, and I watch all the finals and I see his name quite a bit.
Certainly any Czech kayak coming out to a World Cup is going to be up there. Coming off that wave a little earlier than it looked like he wanted to, but if anyone can catch up that time on these waves, it's going to be a Czech kayak.
So you need to see what these guys are doing to have the perfect lines.
That was so fast.
I'd actually say that he came a little bit wider into that sweep up than others have. Really nice. Wow.
Yeah, you can tell he knows this river.
Really strong paddler, smooth run coming along, and it's safe to say this could finish off smooth. Another punt.
Yeah, that one went a little bit better.
Be in that top 3. Let's see what happens on that second split.
We can hear the horns down from the fans in the commentary box.
Almost
The fans are really excited.
Split 1 to 2. Not losing any time. Not gaining any.
Well, it's going to help him a lot. As we saw, he's 1.5 seconds off the pace. This would put you in the final. He's being a bit caught up
That
there.
is not what he wanted.
What happened there?
He just got rejected. His edge put in a little bit too much outside edge, and the boat bounced back, hit his bow on the obstacle there.
So that was maybe 2 seconds down.
Yeah, still impressive.
Provisional second place, just behind Jakob Grieger, Paul Bockerman third, Watkins in fourth.
I believe our next boat is going to be the 10th to qualify, so we're going to start to see those queues come up any second.
Another Frenchie, Sebastien Combo, former world champion, was the rear representative, made the final.
Phenomenal paddler, much somewhat smaller than the other French kayaks, but as Keenan said earlier, just the body, any type of body can really excel in this sport.
Yeah, it's one of the better things about it. Getting a little bit caught up. I don't think he lost too much time there.
Quite low into that up, missing the first wave and taking a touch at the same time, so I think that this is going to be difficult for him to carry through a lot of confidence at the bottom, but we'll see if he can pull off something amazing.
Paddles more on the edge than a lot of the other French paddlers. Doing tighter moves, getting on his stern a little bit more.
Getting his world title very early in his career back in 2007, so he's gotten another World Championships medal in 2014. He's come back
Dropped off the game a bit. He said he was still trying, but the competition was just so tough. Not today, unfortunately. So we should have our first qualified. It looks like, well, I believe Jakob Grieger's going to qualify, which is
No surprise.
no surprise.
Phenomenal season for that guy.
Now you need to be within 2 or 3 seconds of the top time to actually come through. Moment in 10th position is Etienne Dye. It's 3 seconds off the pace. Not today.
That would have been quite a fast time had he not touched.
Next to go, Matthias Polacek, who I saw here at 8 o'clock yesterday evening, looking at the course, studying it. He's had great success here in the past. In
Really
the world, I
strong.
believe he came second.
Bronze in 2013. I think silver last year.
Talk about fit athletes. This guy is a workhorse. We got him the whole way down.
Apparently the whole village is Polacek. His 3 brothers and sister and the company, and just the whole village is a water sport.
Wow, I think that's the best uplift there we've seen.
That was fun to watch. Yeah, and he's paddling very calm. He's not rushing anything. That was a little bit.
But still 1.7 off the pace.
Yeah.
I think that we'll find that Grieger sometimes, maybe not the whole run is strikingly ahead, but he will have a split sometimes that is just phenomenally in front of everyone else. So maybe that's what we're seeing, and he's going to catch up some time on the bottom half. Good turn there. Everything is just moving really smoothly. He's tying together every move. 4.23. He's losing time, but he's not showing it in his paddling style. So we'll see where he finishes. But
Very popular with the locals, as you can hear, clapping him down. Matthias Polacek from Poland will come through. Let's see how he goes over. And into second place, so he qualifies.
maybe he've gained 3 seconds on that finishing sprint.
That just shows how fitness helps, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, he's through to the final. Jakob Grieger and Matthias Polacek have made the final, which means we have 8 athletes to go.
Yeah, Brenda's
High quality athletes.
One of the most fun to watch, and on his day is, and any beware later because he does one twice in a row. He's won the slant cross.
Is he in the heat?
really smooth paddler, fluid, runs the boat well.
Had injuries a couple of years ago, but now back to the best form.
Yeah, I believe that was sort of his breakout year actually, just at the start of it. He took a shoulder dislocation, but clearly not affected by it here, still at the top of his game. Wow.
Look at that.
This is showing the strength of Grigar's run, given that a Czech local is contesting him, but very, very fast.
That was nice.
So Vit Prinder's putting together a really dynamic run here in front of his home public.
Yeah, very controlled. It's middle of the gates. He knows what he has to do. He's not trying to do something crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's ahead.
You'll notice that boats that do the upstreams on the draw, it can be sometimes a less flashy type of way to do the upstream, but your boat speed carries much better doing it. And you saw that in that very similar line to others, but the draw carries speed well.
Holy.
Well, we should have a new leader. We will have a new leader. Look at that.
Oh, yeah.
Well, there's your first 95 of the day. Clear.
Oh, no. 91.
Was it really? So I can't read anymore.
95 being the previous leader.
Well, there you go. That's even better.
Wow.
Nice.
That was almost faultless, wasn't it?
That, yeah. Brazil's sweetheart.
Took a lot of press for many reasons in Brazil, Pepe.
Yeah, he did.
Really strong paddler. He has a really great paddling style. Forward, catching the blade well, explosive. He's sort of been in the semifinal for a number of years, but it's not surprising to see him now qualifying in 7th with that really good style.
Making the final was good for the whole nation, I believe.
Yeah, and he had a wicked qualifier run.
Yeah, the whole stadium in Rio absolutely lit up for Pepe. It was that one in the final. Everyone had that hope, and I think that they supported him regardless. Be exciting to see the Brazil as a nation coming through in 2020 and seeing what the legacy is there. I think it's going to be a strong one.
Well, as I say, they seem to have a top coaching team in place, and there's no more enthusiastic than happy, smiley athletes.
Yeah, they're so fun to be around. The Brazilian team in Krakow is just lighting up the whole opening ceremonies.
And that's a big piece of high-performance sport. You're traveling 9 months of the year with this small group of people. You got to get along, you got to have fun, and you got to all support each other. So having a team with that
Mental set. But it's not the run of his life. He's 4.8 back, and there's another 2-second penalties. So let's see if he actually makes it through.
Unlikely.
Correct.
competitive raw time, but not with the penalties.
Moving on, so far, Vit Prinders, Jakub Griger, Mates, Polacek, Andrei Tunka have qualified, 6 to go. Next to go, the poster boy. Father was one of the course designers, is one of the course designers. It's Yuri Priskovic, bronze medalist from Rio 2016.
World champion last year, had the fastest run time in Rio. He could definitely do something quite impressive today.
What's really impressive for us is the media. He's always available for everyone.
He was doing an interview before his run yesterday.
Yeah, we don't touch him before, but afterwards he's always available.
Yeah, I know. I was surprised that he was doing it.
It's hard to point out a title that Yuri Priskovic doesn't have yet, but the Olympic one in the future.
I was asking him, is he more or less motivated to go forward? He said, I'm much more motivated. I have one medal, but it's not what I want.
Well, the stadium's lighting up as you'd expect it to.
And Vavra yet to come. Different between last year. Last year we had a bit of rain, and this year it's lovely weather.
Yeah, it's good for the fans.
Maybe rain's forecast tomorrow, I believe.
Really well done there. Turned completely before that next town gate.
Quick.
And 1.6 up so far.
It's going to be quite the performance to have 2, maybe 3 Czech athletes in the final.
Wow, the fans are going crazy.
Well, he was given the victory last year.
It looks like he's maybe just behind where Vit was, but he's not exactly going hard to the finish.
It's cruising, hey. Difficult to say.
Cheeky.
But,
That was cheeky. I saw his Facebook post yesterday. It was easy made it into the semi-final. He's just.
well, he's the real thing.
Yeah.
And so far we now have 5 of the athletes through, and they're all big names. It's going to be a cracking final. Next to go another Olympian. Double Olympian, sorry. Hannes Egner.
Very strong athlete. Always driving the boat. Here we go, keeping it smooth and clean so far.
Slight difference in the volume.
Yeah. I can actually hear now.
This is fine. We're lucky because we're actually 50 meters down from the crowd at the finish line. When you're in Liptovsky, you're actually in the middle of the grandstand.
Yeah.
Same as Bratislava.
1.3 off, so quite a strong run coming together.
Yeah, he's paddling smooth. He's knows what he has to do, and he's committing to that plan.
Not a squeak from the crowd.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, they got to rest their voices because they've got Radilek coming up.
So if you just tuned in, we've just had 2 sensational runs from the Czechs, Vit Prindis and Jo Priskovic. 2.6 off. That's not important though, because the times are, you can give quite a lot and still go in.
Yeah, he just did a really fast cross to the upstream there as well, so we'll see what he can do in this one.
If you're less than 6 seconds off the pace, you still go through, so you can go through with a 97.
Yeah. I think if he doesn't mess up here,
he'll move into the final quite clearly.
Yeah.
He's really pushing those still. Moves into 3rd place. Good run.
Yeah.
So now 6 and 8. It's Paul Bockelman who's sitting just outside. I suspect we're going to have some noise now.
Yeah.
It's local film star, advertising board man, local bar owner, organizer of competition.
Yeah.
For Radilek,
Boat designer as well.
former world champion here in 2013.
Silver medalist at the Olympics.
If you like watching slalom or if you're into the sport, this is the run to watch.
Yeah.
That around Prague.
Yeah.
Small hiccup there, but nothing that he's not going to be able to come back from.
There's not really any fans at that top section, which is why you can't really hear them, but I think it'll start getting louder and louder as we move towards the middle section of the course.
Just 0.33 off in that first split.
Well, that's good, especially because he struggled a little. Well, struggle's a big word, but because he perhaps left half a second behind.
Yeah, he's getting caught up a little bit there.
I think we might see him with maybe a slightly harder finish and sprint than the other Czechs, given these small hiccups, but we'll have to see.
Crucially clean still.
Yes.
There's about 5 seconds
He's about to
play
be pretty
for
close on the split.
Well, 1.6. He's got another 3 seconds to play with.
I think this is
Can't afford a touch though.
a good testament of the difficulty of Prague and the local knowledge that is necessary. These guys know how to ride on top of every wave and every upstream. See that now. Oof.
Well,
Yeah, this will get him into the final for sure.
time to go for is at 97. Less than that, you're okay. Hasn't got too much to play with. Well, 5th place, happily in the middle of the finalists. So far, Prindis, Prikovic and Radilek from the Czech Republic are in the final.
And
Egner, Griga and Polacek, Tunka. So all four Czechs in the final.
That's
Not terribly surprising.
Yeah, but also incredibly impressive,
Yeah.
given the depth of competition that they're facing.
I guess they don't handle pressure the way the others do. Michael Smolan said he was delighted to go to the Olympics, was disappointed with his result.
Yeah. He's had some big results in the past. Winner of the U23s in Australia.
Working with his father, Rafał Szmolin, a former slalom athlete. Had a lot of success together. Polish, yeah.
Polish, living in Charlotte, North Carolina.
So you must, with the fact that you're Canadians and Americans, do you actually see quite a bit of each other?
We've
More than other athletes.
We've traveled there a fair bit in the past to train because we have only one artificial course in Canada, so we've traveled down to North Carolina a fair bit. Currently, there's some issues with the center, and it's actually shut down, but hopefully that'll be back on for them to train hard through the fall and winter.
Well, we saw 1.5 off the pace, which is still very, very good.
Yeah,
2 seconds penalty on 14.
that was really quick.
Definitely a strong paddler.
Yeah, he's got an interesting style. His hands are really close together on the paddle, and he spins the boat like nobody's business.
Well,
Yeah,
that was a technical glip. It was just 0.8 off.
he's paddling one of the test boats.
Really well done on that last
Yeah.
upstream. A lot of people have had struggled to get that sweep around, but he did it no problem.
Well, let's
Yeah.
see how he comes in. This looks an
Good
impressive run.
Yeah, good on him.
Moves into third place without much crowd notice, just slightly.
Nod of acknowledgement.
Not the USA that we're going to see if you have a competition in the States.
Well, Deep Creek was fun.
Yeah.
This guy killed it in the qualifiers at the Olympics. The next guy is coming out.
Giovanni De Gennaro, who won on his home course in Ivrea.
Phenomenal performance back there. Right.
Yeah, double Italian podium.
Daniele Momente, hello if you're listening. So he's been on the scene quite a few years now, hasn't he?
A number of years, yeah. I remember back in 2012, I was a junior, but I think he was competing in the Under-23 World Championships in Wausau, Wisconsin, the first inaugural Under-23 World Champs.
That was a really nice section. You can tell he's close on the split. Oh, he gets caught.
Have to see.
I wonder if that is something he can absorb.
It's looking like he's still paddling well.
If he doesn't let that get to his head, I think he can definitely make that time back up and sneak into the final.
Let's see how much we have time to play with. Again, it's the same. You need to be under 97.5 seconds to go
He's pretty
through.
far back on the split now.
5.44.
Yeah, it needs to make back a second or two.
It's entirely possible if he just has a nice final upstream. A lot of the athletes are coming pretty low. And it's tough. It's tough to get in tight there.
Really well done.
That was really fast.
Good for him to not put out that extra risk in the last upstream. Just keep it smooth. And
Could be close. Ninth
Wow.
rank with one to
Oh.
go.
Oh,
how s-
good on you.
Well done, Giovanni. Just shows, keep going for the last.
The last few athletes have lived up to their qualifying times.
who is
much
it
so.
that we have on the bubble? Paul Buckelman from Germany.
So we know it's going to be a German through. We just don't know which one. One more to
Schubert's
go,
gonna be gunning.
Sebastian Schubert. To his extraordinary standards, not having a fabulous year.
I heard an interesting fact about him. He was has the most ICF clean runs of any of the other kayak men.
Wow. See if he can extend his lead. But in Augsburg, when he's on his day, no one gets close.
Really strong paddler. Got him on the sweep up there. A lot of races he can actually come in a lot of the upstreams and just do a classic draw and have a 2-second lead. Small touch on 6, it looks like.
He's a textbook paddler, like ideal technique, knows when to sweep, knows when to draw, keeps the boat moving.
Unfortunate to have missed the Olympic selection the past couple of years, but Germany's got that incredible depth of field.
So the last decision we have of this morning for the semi-finals going forward to the finals is which German's going to make it through. Paul Buckelman at the moment is 5.69 off the pace, so 97.56, and Sebastian Schubert, who was the fastest in the heats, is the last to go.
Yeah, he's throwing down on the bottom here. I think we might see him this afternoon.
Maybe about an hour and a half time. Yes, he's going to go through in a good time, in fact.
Here we are. Yeah, right on.
Let's lose to fourth place, so...
Oh,
and
big biceps.
Right beside his compatriot, Hannes Egner.
that's good if you... They're just big names there, aren't they? 4 Czechs. And then Smolen, Schubert, Egner, Grigar, and Polacek. It's going to be a fast and furious final. Here you go. Confirmation of the classification.
It's going to be really interesting. We know those Czechs have got all the moves dialed in to take that win, so I'm sure the athletes from the other nations are going to have to pull off something rather spectacular. We'll see how creative they get to find that win.
Yeah, I think we're going to see Priskovich just going for it. Schubert, if he had gone clean there, he would have had the fastest time, so he's going to try to live up to his standard and not touch a gate next time.
Now you can see the athletes that took part in the finals, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, taking 50 seconds. So it was most of the athletes took 2 or 4 second penalties.
Only 2 clean runs, not moving on to the finals.
Yep.
Well, join us. Just let me check the actual official schedule because we're a couple of minutes behind, I believe. But we believe the finals are going to kick off in about 20 minutes time. So in about 20 minutes time, the finals are going to be with us. And that's going to be the C1 men starting, the C1 women, and then we move on to the K1 we've just seen. Guess you've had a cracking morning's entertainment for the viewers. Thank you for the viewers. Thank you for you too. It's Keenan Simpson, Liam Smedley. Thank you so much for coming in. I hope you enjoyed yourself.
I did. Thanks for having me.
Awesome performances.
Yeah.
Back in a few minutes.